Hello, my name is Kafui Dey, and my guest is decorated retired Army officer Major General Henry Anyidoho. General, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Always my pleasure also to see you and your crew.
Thank you so much. So, in about 3 days' time, you'll be turning 85 by the grace of God.
Yes.
But I want you to throw it all the way back to your very earliest memories. What can you remember from your early days?
From my village?
Yes.
Well, the portion I will remember, which I reflected very well in my autobiography, was how I came to be born in Tanyigbe at all. Because my parents, both of them were members of a brass band. In those days, brass band was a big thing in rural communities. So that's where my parents met. And little bit of difficulty in my mother getting conceived. They had to go through a lot of herbal treatment and all manner of things because you didn't have hospital facilities those days. And therefore, finally, she went through a lot of difficult situations before I was born. These stories I was told after I attained the age of being able to remember things. So my birth itself was quite a problem. My mother had entered into forced labor 2 weeks earlier. And my father came back from a farm on a day that somebody who was believed to be a very wicked person had died. So my father approached my mother and said, this is the only day that you can bring forth my child? As if my mother selected the day. And when my father said that, the labor stopped. I went back until after 2 weeks before my mother entered labor again.
To avoid the date.
So I think it was a false labor, as they will call it in medical terms these days. But those days, the things that you believed were those around you, and in rural communities, that was the belief. Why bring forth a child? Then they didn't even know that I was going to be a male child on a day that such an evil man.
Who was that evil man?
They didn't mention the name to me.
Not even a name?
No. So, but in any case, 2 weeks after, the labor began again. And actually, for my mother to deliver me was a difficult problem because then as a big baby, actually, as I came out, they realized. Today, they would have detected the size of the baby. They would have known what to do to avoid her going through a lot of pain. But that was how it was until a medicine man appeared on the scene and said he had the herb he was going to apply. The conditions attached to the herb were such that he was going to walk some distance away from my father's house, and then he would return. If by the time he returned and hadn't been born, that was it. My mother was going to die together with the baby in the tummy. Who was to agree on this? Nobody in the village wanted to accept that. But there was an old grandfather of mine in my mother's side, my maternal grandfather, who said, oh, but let him do it. If this child will be born, because he couldn't continue seeing my mother suffering. He said, so if the child will be born, he will be born and then in any case. So let him do it. He's a herbalist, let him do whatever he. So the man applied whatever he had. Interestingly enough, when he took off from the house, they could still see him walking away when I was born. So that's how I came. And that story fascinated me a lot because of the problems that my mother had to go through. And that's why my mother never wanted me to be away from her. Even after I attained a good age, I was always close to my mother.
Were you her first child?
No, the last.
You were the last child of how many?
Three. She had 2 girls before me. The first one, Grace, whom I knew. The second one, Amma, died even before I was conceived. So I didn't know her at all. But I happened to be the only one for her and my father. Those 2 girls were also for a different man altogether. So my mother was always worried and kept me very close to herself. Had it not been because of schooling that I had to leave home, I was going to be with my mother all the time, you know. So those were the days I remembered. And the fact that I had to go to school very early because of my weight.
How early?
I went to school, I think, about the age of 4 and a half, thereabout, because my mother was having difficulty carrying me on the way to the farm. Because even though I was walking, sometimes if I got tired, she had to still carry me. And I had an uncle called Oscar Mati, who was in primary school then. They call it junior school. Yeah. And he decided one morning that, look, let's take this boy to the school and let him start school. But they took me to the classroom. The way you were assessed whether you were old enough to go to school then was to put your hand or your arm across your head. And if you could touch the opposite ear, then you were qualified to start class 1.
So like this, if I was left-handed.
Exactly.
Oh, like that.
But
Did you succeed?
I did it. I didn't pass because I wasn't old at all. And therefore, I wasn't accepted into class 1. So I had to go to kindergarten. And all that kindergarten kids did at that time was, your mother had one of her cloth, they tie it around your neck. You went there early in the morning, they taught you how to recite a Bible verse, and perhaps taught you some song from the hymn book. And you just went asleep. Slept there until you woke up. Everybody on your own time, you know.
Do you remember any of the hymns or the Bible verses that you learned back then?
Yes. Now, thank you all. I go. Azola ikata idakwenam yama. That was the first song in the hymn book, in the EP church hymn book at that time.
Yes.
So that was the first one they taught us. So you sang that one. You fell asleep or somewhere.
Did they feed
you? Oh yeah. But the teacher of class 1 was the same person teaching kindergarten. But class 1, he had to focus attention on them because they will be examined and then they will have to pass their exam to go to class 2 for the next year.
How many did you think you were in that kindergarten class?
About 15, 20.
Okay. Both sexes? Boys and girls?
Yes.
Okay.
But mostly boys. I guess because we boys were the most troublesome. And girls going to school those days too was not perhaps as popular as boys.
So this is like the mid-40s?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, because I was born 1940.
Yeah.
So we were mostly boys. And then at the close of the day, if your mother returned from the farm, either she came for you herself or she sent somebody, and they sent you home. That was the beginning of schooling in my village. And then in the course of it, I was baptized.
Okay.
My godfather being Pilot Anyidoho, a name you know very well.
Which would be my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
My mother's
Your
father.
mother's father.
Yes. He was your godfather.
Yes, he was my godfather. He gave me the name Henry.
Do you know why he gave you the name Henry?
I later on found out because he was so much fond of me. And when I later on look at the meaning of Henry, which means the king of a house also, he had perhaps spotted me among the children of my age at that time and had believed that something good could come out of me. I don't know, but he was always by me. My baptism, my first marriage, he signed a certificate. Everything I did, it was Pilot. And everywhere he was when he was teaching, I followed him. I visited him as often as I could. That was the relationship between us, which I may say he passed on to me and his children and his grandchildren. we are still very close, even though he left long ago.
Indeed.
You know that very well.
Very much so. And you were born on a Friday, so you definitely
Yeah,
on a Saturday.
Saturday.
So you were Kwami.
Yes.
Yeah. So Henry, Kwami, Anyidoho.
Yes.
Okay. What was your childhood like? What kind of a boy were you?
I would say, how should I describe that kind of a boy? A little bit aggressive in nature.
Mm.
How do you call that kind of a boy?
An aggressive boy.
Extrovert.
Extrovert. Okay, so you're outgoing.
Outgoing. And I broke too many things. To the dislike of my mother in particular. I mean, I step on pots and calabashes, and she could always ask me, so can't you see at all? What is it that you are doing? And that irritated my father also, because I broke a few very expensive things of his.
Like what? Like
Aladdin lamp.
Okay.
Which very few people had in the village.
Describe it. What was an Aladdin lamp? What
Aladdin lamp is powered by kerosene.
Is there a wick in it?
Yes.
Okay.
So sort of wick in it, and I think you pump it.
Okay.
In order to it's a pressure type of lamp.
Okay. And you were breaking with them?
I was breaking the what is it, the lamp? The ball.
It's made of glass.
A glass.
Yes. So those were
those were the things, because when I hadn't matured enough to try to clean them, I would want to be seen to be the one in charge. Especially when nobody else had it very close by. I wanted to demonstrate to people that in my father's house I could, but I had no idea as to how to do it well. And then my father also had a gramophone.
For playing music?
For playing music. Okay. Again, he was the only one who had it in the community there. So people came around in the evenings to listen to latest music.
What kind of music was your father playing those days?
High life music, mainly by Ike Nyami and others. They were the high life musicians during our time when we were little boys. And anytime a new record came, my father would want to buy one and bring to the village. Again, I was breaking those records, you know. And it's made out of mica.
Yes, very expensive, very delicate.
Very delicate. So those were the things I used to do. And also, a very strange sleeping habit. I could sleep at a spur of a moment.
At the drop of a hat, you sleep?
Oh, yes. And then I was gone. And sometimes my mother got so angry because I didn't eat before sleeping in the evenings. And if you try to wake me up, you were making a mistake.
You will never wake up.
And I still do have that kind of...
And the habit has carried on to now?
I think so. I think I still sleep deeply, but for a very short period, as I kept on growing. But many people say that contributes to my health, that I'm able to sleep well. I'll tell you, when I was in Rwanda, my soldiers, especially those who didn't know me well, thought I never slept. But what was happening was that each time I withdrew to my office, I would find time to sleep for a very short period.
Very deep.
Exactly. But then I'll wake up and start going around, supervising to see whether everybody was doing his work. So I think they complained, say, who is this man who doesn't sleep at all?
They didn't think you had powers or what?
No, but those are the things I could remember about my childhood life. Some of them I carried on.
What did your father do as a profession?
He was a farmer.
What did he grow?
Cocoa, mainly, those days. And that was what he used, the cocoa money, to buy his Aladdin and gramophone, and to look after us in school. I had a senior brother of another woman, and we were in the same class. So my father, by village standard, was okay, because he could pay our school fees half yearly. Yes, when others had to be sent home almost every month for school fees, he paid ours half yearly. And sometimes I took some of my classmates to him and pleaded with him to pay their fees, because once some of the children did not settle their school bills. Classes were not going to go on. So I'll go and tell my father that, please, pay for these kids, and I think their parents will pay you. They never paid.
But your father paid for them.
But my father paid.
Where was he growing the cocoa?
At a place called Honuta.
In the Volta region?
In the Volta region, close to Kweje.
I never knew they grew cocoa in the Volta region.
Oh, Volta region, when we were little boys, that was the main occupation of serious farmers. They had cocoa everywhere.
In the Volta region?
In the Volta region. Even today, when they started replanting the new cocoa seedlings, Volta region is coming up again. They do grow cocoa.
Okay.
Yeah, in the forest areas. And this place I talk about, Honuta, is even up a hill. And they had a hut there. So you slept there. You spend your time there whilst working on the cocoa. Yes.
What kind of relationship do you think you had with your father? What was he like to you?
My father, as I've been telling people, was my friend. Father-son relationship, but we were so close. Especially when I developed into, from boyhood to manhood. I think as a little boy, I was making too many troubles.
Breaking stuff.
Especially the time I went to technical school and then ran away and came back, and he had to drive me to go back. Those days, I couldn't say that we were friends. But after I became an adult and started working, actually, we were like friends because we had so many things to talk about. And I didn't know then that he was educating me about our family and about life generally. We were so close, very close, to the extent that when he started actually aging, anytime I learned that he was not well and I drove to the village, sometimes with the intention of bringing him to Accra for treatment, immediately I got there, he recovered. That was how strong the bond of relationship was between us.
And he lived for a very long time.
Yes, for a long time, for about 101 years. Especially when my mother, she died earlier. She died just around 70 years. But my father lived long and had good health. He enjoyed good health. He wasn't a burden on anybody per se. He was aging, yes. So he started using walking stick at one stage, but that kind of sickness which put you down, that you were wailing for people to come to your aid, and no, my father didn't have to go through that. In fact, his father grew even much older. I was told about 116 or so. And then I knew my grandfather, but only I was in America on my first army course before he died. And my father's mother also lived long. So I would say I think they have longevity
in their lives. Was it your grandfather who came from Alakple to Tanyigbe? From Anglo to Hodome?
From Anglo.
What's the story?
From Kita district.
What's the story of that?
He was a trader. He was a trader. He traded in all manner of things, including fish, salt, which you had to bring from the southern part of the Volta region to the Middle Belt and others. So those things that were available, he brought to sell, and I think on his way back, he carried some of the foodstuff and the mat. There's a mat they call pabe. It's made out of a shrub.
A mat for sleeping on?
Yes.
Okay. Not the same as the achacha kind of mat?
No, not achacha. Yeah, this one was made for, and the type of material I'm describing was only found in the Volta region around river beds, cool areas.
Almost like a reed.
Yes.
Okay.
Something like that. And so he too will carry those to Anglo on his return. Until, whether it was his plan, he started marrying women along his trade route. So
what was his trade route?
From Anglo area, he came through. They were doing everything but on foot.
On foot, yeah.
The first place he picked a life partner was at Agoti Mekpetoe. Agoti Mekpetoe, he married a lady who was also, and my grandfather practiced medicine also.
Okay.
Medicine, juju or whatever.
Okay.
The things they believe in. Traditional medicine.
Right. Okay.
Traditional medicine. The lady also was like that, or like a fetish priest.
Okay.
And also a trader.
Just like him.
Just like him. So I think that was how they met. And got together in as partners in trading.
Okay, yeah, in the business.
In a
like
business. In the process, they had a child, a daughter, named her Semeko. So Semeko happens to be the first of my father and his siblings. But that was the only child he had with the lady from Agoti Mekpetoe. So the woman was called Semekono. That's the mother of Semeko. Then my grandfather, Semekoto. And that was the name my grandfather was known by the whole of his life. Semekoto, Semekoto. And this Semeko was the mother of Pilot Anyidoho.
Ah, my grandfather.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's your great grandmother, Semeko.
Okay. And then from Agoti
Mekpetoe,
next stop.
Yes, but he moved back southwards.
Oh, he went back small reverse.
to
Strategic.
Veta, where he got his second partner.
Okay. Also a trader?
I'm not very sure, but I'm sure she must have been. And that is the grandmother of Professor Kafui Anyidoho.
The renowned poet.
Exactly.
And professor.
My cousin.
Yes.
You know. So his grandmother was different from my grandmother.
Okay. She's from Veta.
Veta.
Yes.
And that's why when professor says he's going home, he goes towards Veta. When I say I'm going home, I'm going towards Tanyigbe. Okay. Because my grandmother was then the third.
On the stop, the trade route.
Yes. The Tanyigbe where my grandfather came to spend the greater part of his life was where my grandmother was married. Was married, and then my father happened to be the first child of my grandmother.
Ah.
Yes, and others followed. But when we were growing up, we didn't know
the
any difference at all.
Okay, all right.
My grandfather's children of these women all stayed together as if though they were children of the same woman.
They all lived together finally.
They all lived. Yes, Tanyigbe was the hub.
The hub. And that was his last stop.
That was his last stop, and he lived there for many, many, many years. Made his own mark. So that was it.
So he spoke the Anglo variety of Epe? Or
he spoke Anglo pure.
Okay.
Because this was a grown-up man before he traveled to. So I never heard him speak. No.
Okay. What was he like as a person? What did you learn from him, your grandfather?
Very intelligent, very clever, very smart person. And I think he added that one to his herbal medicine. It's very clever. For example, when I joined the army in 1961, and my mother didn't like the idea that I had joined the army because I left technical school straight to the army after my final exam without telling my parents. And when my mother got to know because of the stories I told you earlier, my mother got someone to write a letter to be sent to me in the training center that she was very ill. So when they got that, the white men who were in charge of the training said, if it's your mother, then you have to go. So they gave me permission to go. When I got home, my mother had gone to the farm. I said, how could the sick person... I was very angry because then I found out that my mother wanted to get me out of the training center because he was not going to have one son going to the army and then go to die.
Besides, you were very close to her. She was very close to you.
Very close.
Yeah.
So we had to have a meeting the following day in my grandfather's house. My grandfather then was the chairman of the discussion that was going to take place. Everybody spoke. Then he was the last one to speak. This was a question he threw to the gathering. Go to the cemetery and come back and tell me how many soldiers were buried there. He asked everybody there. He said, you are afraid that this young man will die if he goes to the... So you go to the cemetery. Come back and tell me how many graves you could identify.
As soldiers.
Yeah, soldiers' graves. If you couldn't find any, then it means other people also die. No.
And they are more than the soldiers.
Yes. Very intelligent man.
Very smart. Yeah.
So he said, because he had grown there for many years, you will not find any grave of a soldier there. It means other people also die.
Yes.
So let this young man go and do the profession he wanted to do. And then he said this: if I finish making my statement, nobody talks. Let him go. And good luck will follow him. That was my grandfather's concluding remarks.
End of story.
And therefore, there was silence. The man had given his orders, and people had to obey.
What if somebody had spoken after he had made that?
Well, he was not going to allow you.
Simple.
Yeah, he said he allowed you to talk. You've spoken enough.
Yeah.
And he gave his concluding remarks. It still pains me today that he didn't live long enough after I joined the army for him to see how I developed. That his word carried me through.
When he died, how old were you?
I was about 22.
Oh, early 60s.
20 years, but I was on course in the USA. I had gone to do radio technicians course in Fort Gordon, Georgia, when I heard of his death, and I was so devastated, because I had gone to the overseas, which attracted me in that vet before I joined the army. I had gone there for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was going to come back. At least I would have brought him some,
Yeah.
maybe a towel or something so that he could see that his blessings started, unfolding.
Yeah. And the decision he made is what
Was right,
contributed you
exactly.
to the army.
And but he didn't see much of it. My grandmother, my father's mother, she lived until I became a lieutenant. So she saw a little bit of
you,
yeah.
What do you think you learned from? What's the enduring lesson you've learned from your grandparents, starting with your grandfather?
My grandfather, very persistent, very determined person. You put your hands on something to do, you do it. He didn't allow room for failure. And I think he put that idea into his children. Because I grew up in this large family, and almost all of them succeeded and doing whatever they were asked to do. There were tailors among them, there were masons among them.
So don't persist till the task is done.
Exactly. For example, my senior-most cousin pilot that I referred to earlier, he was the first person, I think, to go to Evangelical Presbyterian Middle School from my family. And once he got trained, he was educated, he became a trained teacher, then everybody had to follow. That he was a beacon. We had to follow.
Like standard template.
Exactly.
Let's go.
And then so that was one of the things I learned from my grandfather. The next thing is, he took on responsibility of others, not only his children. That again, I saw my father go through when I was in middle school Form 4. We were 10 that lived with my father, but he had only 2 of his children. The other 8 were from not even from Tanyigbe, but from other places. So this was a man that introduced into his family taking care of other people. And I picked that, and I do it still today. In this house, James is, as the last of my children, is the only one that even he doesn't stay here now throughout. He's somewhere in the central region, but he comes over weekends. But you will see that we are about 12 in the house. Other people's children that we bring in, they serve us. We send them to school, depending on your own ability to climb on. If not academically, you may go to learn a trade. our policy has been, don't live here the same way you came. So it's like a transit point.
Yeah, personal development.
Exactly. We emphasize that. And my parents did that when I was growing. Some of the people that lived with him, that went to school from surrounding villages, their children became professors. One professor, Chiji, who taught in KNUST, Kumasi. The father was one of my mentors that carried me along to school when he lived with my parents.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is good. My grandfather never wanted to see his grandchildren scattered all over the places and cared for. Therefore, if you are a man and you had a child or children with one of his daughters, and he saw that you were irresponsible, he simply collected the woman back to his house with the children, and he himself became their father.
Yeah. So taking responsibility of
Exactly.
other people apart from your own.
And I think his children, almost all of them, picked that from him.
How about your mom? What did you learn from your mother?
Hard work. Extraordinarily. My mother, I think that's why she died even too early. She worked too hard and was a very strict disciplinarian.
You felt her discipline before?
Whew.
What was the one that really sticks in your mind? What did you do?
My mother, no, she didn't give any space at all for failures. And because I became one child, because I lost my sister.
Yes.
If I did something wrong and I tried to run away, she ran after me. And she would say that, look, I'll beat you. You better stop. Don't try to get away. No matter what you do, you will come back to this house to eat anyway. Because the rule was that you will not eat outside.
That was the rule.
He said, you better stop and I'll beat you for the wrong that you have done. It's better for you because you will come back. And as I was growing, our house was by the road to the riverside. So as I was maturing, I remember one day telling my mother that, don't you see all these young girls, women, passing by to riverside, and you are shouting at me like that? If I did that, she shouted them all. To my total displeasure. But that was my mother. She didn't give room for you to misbehave. And so if you were coming to stay with her, the many children she looked after, you should accept that. You should also accept that you will go to the farm on Saturdays and work very hard. Those were the only two things she required from you. You'll be able to work on the farm. You'll obey her instructions. And that was it.
So you know how to work on the farm?
Very much so.
What were you growing?
Well, virtually at Tanyigbe, our main focus was on cassava, maize, yam, this staple. Even though at Tanyigbe also we did have some cocoa farms behind the hill. You know the place, so behind the hill was all a forest area. We did have some cocoa farms there, but mainly focusing on what we could eat. We produce and eat. And as you sold part of it in the market at home. So that's why everywhere I am, I try to make little gardens around me, because I've always said that was the first trade my parents taught me. To do something for yourself.
Even when you were abroad as a soldier, did you maintain a garden?
No, as a soldier, no.
But in Ghana here, yes.
In Ghana here, even when I was in Takoradi Technical, and life was very hard in those days. And I left a boarding school in Pandu and went to a day school in Takoradi. I used to go to work on the farm for some laborers who had their own cassava farms close by. And after working for them Saturday mornings, they gave you some cassava you took home.
That's it. You're paid.
Because I already knew how to work on the farm, so that was not a problem for me. And I kept on that. When I started working as a soldier here in Ghana, everywhere I served, anybody who was with me knew that farming was part of my life.
Even in Kumasi?
In Kumasi, where the military is building the hospital now, a big hospital,
Mhm.
the land had been acquired by the British before they left. Someone came to inform me one day that people were trying to encroach on the land. So I went with one of my staff officers. He retired as colonel, and so he was a major then. And we got to the place. A little boy who was playing on the football field came straight to us, said, Mumbra, Bakunie. I said, Bakunie, what was he talking about? We should come and see something. That one, and it was a pillar. One of the pillars for the land. Because somebody must have been saying that this place belonged to the military. So when he saw us, he apparently felt that that was why we were coming. So he showed us that one pillar. We use it to trace the other pillars. What did I do? In order to prevent people from encroaching on the land, I declare, I think Tuesdays or Thursdays, farming days in my garrison in Kumasi. And I shared the land among the various units that were in Kumasi. You decide what you want to grow. You can grow cassava, you grow pepper, you grow. So once we did that, we possessed the land.
Yes.
Which they call Afari land. That's the one of which they are building the major hospital for the military in Ashanti region.
How big was that land?
I can't remember the acreage.
But a huge plot.
A huge plot.
I mean, a hospital is going on it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they had taken, I haven't been there. But the hospital they are building, I think it's meant to be bigger than that of 37.
It's quite substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So your farming, what you learned from your mother was applied
Exactly.
to save a situation.
I always enjoy, today, if I go to my village, around my house, I don't know when you came last time, you had opportunity to move around.
So plantains and things like
yes,
that.
some plantains, some peppers, some garden eggs. Little things that you can do for yourself.
Yeah. So for sustenance. Let's take it back to school. So finally you got to class 1.
Yes.
Your hand could now touch your ear. What was the experience like going to school in the 40s? Colonial Ghana.
Well, I would say better organized. They taught you your own language. First, you must master your mother tongue. So everything we were taught from class 1 to 3 in Ebe.
So math was in Ebe.
Math was in Ebe. Everything was in Ebe.
Math will be Akonta.
Akonta.
Okay.
Yes. Then reading, you read Ebe books.
Do you remember some of the books?
Gomajek Bale.
The beginner's book.
Prima, Bato, those type of things. So you learned all that for 3 years. By that time, you would have completely understood every grammar. And in fact, that's the same thing I used today in reading Bible, every Bible.
Yeah.
What they taught us in 3 years.
Yeah. So because you think in Ewe, you can write in Ewe.
Exactly.
So it meant all teachers who were posted there had to speak Ewe.
Yes, at that time. At that time.
Do you think that system should have continued of teaching people in their local languages wherever they are?
I think that's what it should be. So your child does not ask you when you speak to him in Ewe or in Akan or in Hausa or whatever. He turns around to ask you, what are you saying in English? No. He should understand rather when he goes to English, he says, okay, this is how they call a cock. Kokuluchu. Kokuluno. Hen. So because that language he is already speaking, therefore to read it and I will say, oh, kokulu no ospelenale. Okay. The whole that along. So, but now it's the reverse way. The children that are being brought up in urban areas, in the cities, they learn to speak English first. Then when you speak to them their own mother tongue, they begin to ask you, so what are you saying? It's irritating.
It's irritating.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. Because language is powerful. In Rwanda, one soldier told me, an officer, long after we came back, he said, General, you remember? When I heard you speaking Twi on the radio net during the crisis, I was amazed because I never heard you speak Twi before.
I only heard you speak Twi today.
Because I wanted to talk to the Ghanaians who were there, who were in trouble, and I didn't want anybody else to eavesdrop and to understand what we were saying. So that's how language is. So you don't play with languages. I wish that had continued. Then from class 4, which we used to call San 1, San 1, San 2, San 3, that was the junior school.
Yes.
They started teaching you English.
Then. What was your experience like with English for the first time in class 4?
It was very exciting because then we were beginning to speak a foreign language.
In Tanyigbe?
Yes, you could talk your classmates. You know,
but your parents will not understand
1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that was the interesting part of it.
You have a code amongst your friends.
Yeah, so later on, some parents used to complain that, well, I have bought a language for you. You can use that one to insult me now.
So exciting.
Very, very exciting.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. And then you made friends in school, you know, friends that were to last for life.
You still have some of those friends alive?
Yeah, very few of them in my village. Those who left middle school with me the same year, I still have about 7 of them around. The women, 4 of them, they are all there. It's we the men who were in the majority now in the minority. We are 3.
Yeah. Those were good days.
Very good days. And very friendly comrades, you know, that you could share anything with. If it was a roasted cocoyam you had, you gave a piece to, because even in the rural areas, standards were different. There were homes that you could get enough to eat, and there were homes that didn't have enough. So I remember very well, we used to take some other children with us to farm on Saturdays. And by my mother's policy, you'll go to the farm, you'll work, she will give you so much to carry at the end of the day. That will take you some days into the new week. Yeah, we always have.
Almost like a social security system for those who couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Is that system still there now?
Those things have all fallen into pieces. People don't cherish. Just yesterday, somebody sent me a video about a river being dredged. This river we used all my life had been ignored. And it was actually completely vanishing, got dried up. But they took a decision that they will go and dredge it, bring the river. And I saw them working there. I was so happy.
It reminded you of back then.
Exactly. That communal labor has actually returned. Because our fathers used to maintain the roots, minor dredging, because our mothers were the ones that fetched the water.
So you have to
every morning. So you have to protect it. So the men worked hard to protect the river. You know? And I don't know why all those things, because we thought it's civilization. Because they brought pipe-borne water from Ho to Tanyigbe. And therefore, you ignore the river that it has always been there. In fact, when Homaoli was established, they used to come to Tanyigbe to fetch water for the school because Ho didn't have good drinking water. You know?
So those were primary school days. What was it like going to... So from primary school, what was your progression?
To middle school.
Still in Tanyigbe?
Tanyigbe. Okay. Those days they used to call... part of it I did at Akwefe, the primary school with teacher pilot.
Yes.
I went to middle school. It used to be called senior school before.
Okay.
Then it changed to middle school. At Tanyigbe, left in 1956, December.
So you were 16. Just before just before independence.
And then took common entrance, and they invited me for an interview at Kwami Dey Secondary School. I attended, which I passed. But whilst attending the interview at Kwami Dey Secondary School, I went across the road to Kwami Dey Trade School, as it was called then, the Technical Institute. And the new machines I saw in the rooms and the buildings fascinated me so much, I took a decision that if they should call me as a result of the common trans, I was rather going to go to the technical, not the secondary. Because the secondary had also just started. They were still in one block building. Like I said, no, this place is like middle school. I'm not coming there.
It's not new.
No. But the technical school was built, thanks be to Nkrumah and his ideas. Brand new, it was built well with all facilities. You know, and when I got there, I didn't regret it, but I was there for only 18 months and I had to go to Takoradi. Because the system then was you went to a junior technical school for 18 months. You took an examination from UK, they call pre-technical.
Then you go.
Depending upon your performance, you were sent to a senior technical institute to do your main course.
Okay.
You know, they taught you the rudiments, mathematics, algebra, geometry, and a little bit of everything.
At that time, what did you think you were going to be?
I wanted to do something of engineering.
Okay.
But what exactly engineering, I didn't have the clear idea. I think that's why they put the pre-technical there.
Who was giving you careers counseling?
We didn't even have anybody doing career counseling. You had to take decision at a very young age. But I think that's why they set up the pre-technical.
For the rudiments.
So when we did the pre-technical and they marked the papers, then they decided that, this boy will be good at the, I think that was why electrical was selected for me, because I was so poor in technical drawing that I couldn't have done a building trade. Yeah, because those ones required you to be imaginative and to be able to draw. And drawing was a big problem for me.
You didn't like drawing?
I still have my poor marks on some sheets of paper I saw last time in my father's room. But if you ask me to calculate something, that was it.
You were a maths guy?
Yes. So when they gave me electrical, I wasn't surprised. And it was something I could reach. And that was what I did. And it was, so I went to Takoradi now to do 4 years.
Okay.
So total, to do, yes, 5.5 years short. Yes.
Where were you when independence happened?
Bando.
What was that like? What was 6 March 1957 like for you?
Yeah, very bad day for us because there was the Togoland movement. And Bando was a hot place for the government of the day of the Gold Coast, I think, because people around those areas had never agreed with the plebiscite results. And they were still resisting. They didn't want to be part of Gold Coast. And that was known. So they had even deployed soldiers to, or I would say battalions, to some places in the Volta region. And our school compound was the headquarters for one of the units they deployed.
Really?
In that area.
While you were still in school?
Whilst we were there. So
you're seeing soldiers moving?
Oh, no, they moved into the field from the school.
Really?
But we knew that they were there.
They were there?
Yeah, they went and dug in their trenches, put up their tents, and they were there. But they were blowing their bugle, they were observing their routine. What we call in the military routine in the defense. Okay. So each time they blew the bugle, which I came to know later on, they were going to have morning assembly, evening assembly. We too in the school, we followed. We too will come to morning assembly.
Exactly.
With the bugle, we followed them. And I think that also was why I started developing interest in
the spark for the military life.
Exactly.
From there.
White
officers?
White officers in charge of mainly black
troops.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because later on, even when I came to join in Kumasi in 1960, we had only one black officer anyway.
And the rest were white? Yes.
The rest were white. And the British were then doing the national service. Every young man had to go through the system. So they were very young.
So they were post people from UK to come and do the national service in the Gold Coast?
Yes.
Okay.
My platoon commander, when I was training as a recruit in Kumasi, was a white lieutenant. Yeah.
So the 6th March was not a good day for you?
No, they even shut our school because the people who were fighting for their own independence even attacked government buildings.
In Pando.
In Pando, the post office was one target, and the bullet holes and all sort of the such remain on that building for quite some time.
Really?
As a monument.
Yes.
I think they should have preserved it.
Mm.
But they didn't preserve it. Pando was a serious center for
Hotspot, eh?
resistance.
Mm.
So we had to go home eventually
Okay.
to our parents for some time before they recall us. So we didn't really enjoy because the Ablore movement was there.
Yes, freedom movement.
Yes,
Okay.
freedom was there.
Finally, it was quelled.
Yes, it finally it ended.
And then resurfaced not too long ago.
Yes,
In
it was that
2017.
same thing they were retracing.
Yes.
That same
Kujo G and his
people
people.
Kujo, when they lived a life at that time. They saw it. So when they realized, to them, they were not being treated fairly. They said, we should have been on our own. I think that was the thinking.
Yeah.
But that was the same thing that was resurrecting.
So the idea was to have a separate country apart from Gold Coast and Togo, correct?
Yes.
That was the idea.
That was the idea. And they were saying that the plebiscite result stated that they voted for union. And if it's a union, they understood it to mean two separate countries, but they have a union. What are the bases of the union? They didn't say that they were being integrated. This was their argument. Yeah, so because it was a trust territory then.
Yes.
Under the Trusteeship Council
of the UN.
The other one is what now we call the Republic of Togo.
Exactly.
Where even last week they were killing people.
Yes.
People didn't understand. The idea was not to merge with them. No, it was the British Togoland, and you had the French Togoland. So the British Togoland was to be, that's the West Togoland plebiscite.
Yes.
Yeah. When you go to history books.
They're all there.
Yeah. So 6 March was not a pleasant. I don't think it was a pleasant day anywhere in that part of the Volta region. But it was all sorted out later on.
It was. And then you said you went to Takoradi. How did you travel from Tanyigbe to Takoradi back in the day?
On the normal vehicle that was available was the Royal Mail.
Royal Mail? Post office?
Royal Mail was normally a vehicle that belonged to an individual, but hired by the government. And they put Royal Mail in front of it. That's the one that carries mail to where post offices were and postal agencies. So that one was regular. So if you time it, you could always get into it.
Every day?
No, it was not. They didn't run to rural areas every day. Maybe twice in a week.
Only?
Then there were some vehicles that were dedicated to flying between Ho and Accra. So if you got to Ho, and again, you must time the one you are going to take from Ho to Accra.
Otherwise,
you might miss it. So we were coming like that, and it was possible in the mid-50s to get transport from Ho to Accra. You arrive in Accra, then you can join a train to Takoradi.
Where did the train set off in Accra?
Or from the railway station.
Kantamanto area? Straight to Takoradi?
It goes through a lot of places to Huni Valley. And, it's a long journey.
Oh, lots of stops.
Lot of stops. That's how I got to know the names along that route those days. So then you'll eventually arrive there.
How long is this journey?
Oh, I don't remember now.
But hours.
But even if you went by road, you could go by road also with whatever type of vehicles were available at the time. The road you have now from Accra to Cape Coast was not the one, was not there. You had to go through all the coastal villages
Ooh.
If you left Accra, you went through all those coastal villages. I can't remember the names.
So you are driving, you are hugging the coast all the way.
All the coast was the one that was used because the white men used that for the administration.
Exactly.
The coastal road.
Mm.
Because ships were also coming to berth.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it took you 176 or 178 miles
That's
from
interesting.
Accra to Takoradi, which is now only 148 or so.
Yes.
It has been drastically
cut down
when the new road
came through.
came through.
Did you receive a culture shock when you got to Takoradi?
Very much so. One very particular thing I recollect, and I regretted it, was I was in a boarding school. Here in Takoradi Technical Institute, there was no boarding facility, and you had to look for accommodation on your own. Where were you going to get accommodation? So I was lucky. My first journey, I traveled with a colleague of mine who was going to do mechanical, part of mechanical in I think auto mechanic, also in Takoradi. We traveled, we were in Kwando together for the pre-technical, and we happened to take the same vehicle going for the first time.
Also a native of the Volta region?
Yes.
Okay.
And he had an aunt there that was married to a railway worker.
Mm.
So the railways, they have quarters.
Yes, yes.
So on the veranda of that quarters, they built something with wooden boxes. That was to be our room.
Little hostels. How big? How big? How big? How big?
Nothing. And
6 feet?
Our boxes that we carried, I don't know how we were managing that. If you had to read, really to do some studies, you came under the traffic light.
To study?
Yeah, because the railway quarters area it was very well lit. That was how, and I hated that because in a boarding house we were looked after very well, fed well, and food was very expensive in Takoradi. Eventually, I moved away from that because the gentleman we stayed with didn't really like me so much.
Although he offered to stay with him?
No, because I followed the other boy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that one was his wife's nephew, so he didn't have a choice.
No.
But the other two of us who joined him,
you were precious.
The man didn't seem very much to. I wouldn't mention. I still remember his name,
but you won't mention it.
No. But his wife liked me so much for my services.
Okay.
Because I used to do all her ironing, things like that. But I just couldn't take the man's attitude any longer. So I decided to move away and go and stay with another friend at Tefiekuma.
Okay.
But the first place I was staying was just across the road to GSTS.
Yes.
The railway quarters. So, especially when the man came back from work one day and said, I had put his food into a cot, a baby cot, in which they had put a dead body before. And I was not there when that child died. And he really chastised me. I felt so sad. I said, I felt like, my father is also, but I couldn't run away again.
No.
Because I had run away once. So then I moved away to Fiekuma.
What was that like?
Beginning new way of life, but God was following us, those of us in that condition.
Mm.
I stayed with a friend in the shared room at the Fiekuma Zongo. Then we went on holidays. When we came back, when we were going on holidays, I brought my property, my wooden box, to another friend of mine who had an opportunity to live in a Fiekuma housing estate before we went on holidays. When we came back, I stopped at his place to go and check on our own accommodation at the Zongo. And then I was told that my friend was not returning because his exams the previous year didn't go well, so he was asked to repeat and he was not coming back. Oh, and I couldn't stay there to pay the rent all by myself.
Because you were sharing the rent?
Yes.
Mm.
But where I stopped when I came from the holidays, another mate, he said, "Oh, Kwami, just stay with me. I'm also perching, but my landlord has gone home. You will wait until he returns to see what he will say."
Mm.
The landlord didn't come back.
You were there.
When he went home, either they made him a chief or something. He didn't return to Takoradi during our school days. So we were advised to go to the housing estate office, and they got the room actually changed in our name.
Oh.
So we became the owners,
What?
the two of us, until we finished school.
Landlords.
And that man and I became like real brothers.
Yeah.
When we finished school, he became a mines engineer. When I rushed to the army, he went to the
Mines.
Takwa Mines School and continued, became mines engineer, properly qualified.
Nice.
Agra from Lekelebi. He died about 2-3 years ago.
Oh, okay. You maintain contact?
We maintained contact, and I took the Asafo company from my village to go and play during his funeral.
Nice.
We were great friends.
Our brothers.
Great, yes, because he cared for me, and he had a good learning habit, which I studied from him. I said I credited him all along with whatever my final performance was at the technical school.
What was his learning habit like?
He was studying from evening, and I went to sleep. This is my sleeping habit. When I woke up, he was still at the table, and the man I knew was more intelligent than I was. So
and still learning.
So if he was still learning, and I also wanted to do something, then we ought to,
do something.
So I followed him.
Yeah.
God willing, we all came out with a first class city and guild certificate at the end of it. In fact, we were 11 that were registered for and 10 of us came out with first class.
Oh, wow.
Because they kept on trimming the class as we moved through the terminal examinations.
Yes.
And because that was the first time they were going to do city and guilds overseas exam for technical students. Yeah. And the government wanted the results to be good.
Yes, to display.
Exactly.
Governments haven't changed. They still do that now. They want good results. Did you learn to speak Fanti?
I tried to, but no, I wasn't very good at it at all. And it was mixed up with a Hantan.
Oh, you had to speak some Hantan too?
So it was difficult for me. The poor tree I speak now, it was long after I left school and joined the army that I started learning. Yeah, but I didn't pick any Fanti when I was in Takoradi.
What were your best moments in Takoradi? When you look back with fondness?
It will just be the school and my colleagues who were the guns from Teshi mainly.
Okay.
Because we played soccer in the same team, the school team. Okay. And we were also playing for a town team. Those Teshi boys were very good at soccer.
Really? So you played for a school team and you played for a town team?
Exactly.
What town was this?
No, this was outside the school. That's how we describe all of them. Like Hasakas and 11 Ys.
Yes.
They were all town teams.
And then you had your school team too.
And you had the school team too.
Okay.
But we play for the baby teams. Okay. But that could take you to travel outside Takoradi. So you got to know places like Takwa and others.
With the football?
Yes.
What was your position?
I used to play a fullback.
Okay, like a defender.
A defender.
Were you wicked?
Especially with one Soa from Teshi. He also died 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
All my colleagues. But they were very gentle people. The typical Presbyterian Teshi boys. So we attended church service together. The Gans, the Ebes, and the Kwapims.
Yeah, because of the Presbyterian.
Yeah, had a combined service in Takoradi behind the police headquarters. And we traveled from Fiekuma to that place every Sunday.
What language was spoken in that joint service?
3 of them.
Oh, you speak you hear Gan, Eve, and Ikapim?
Okay. Exactly. If you're going to call the hymn, they give you the numbers in all the 3 languages.
Okay. Oh, so you feel that you're
were
part
at
of the
home,
service.
yes.
Yeah. After your graduation in Takoradi, what What took you to the army?
Straight to the army.
Straight. Why did you decide to join the army? I mean, you had flavors of it in Pando, but what was the decision?
Because I heard they had a program for the Bando, no, from the army, Ghanaian troops in the Congo.
In the 60s.
60s, they were there when Nkrumah sent them there. And every Wednesday, there was your choice for our troops in the Congo. Their families made a request for them to play music.
Oh, like a request time.
Exactly.
So this was an external service of GBC?
External, yeah.
So they could catch us in Congo?
Exactly. So I was listening to this all along. I said, I think I must join these people.
GBC could go all the way to Congo?
Yes, they could pick them on a high-frequency radio.
Are you surprised that now it's just within Ghana? GBC now, we don't go beyond Ghana.
Why?
Unless you're on
because
the internet.
You think it's internet.
Unless you're on the
Those
internet.
days, because we could even talk on our HF radios to troops in the Congo. Yes. Yeah. Wow. C11 stroke R210. That was the
frequency?
The vehicle, the radio we were using.
Okay.
You call it C11. That's what the nomenclature for the radio. C11 stroke receiver 210. And we mounted, because that's what we gave to them also to carry along to the Congo.
So you could speak to them?
Yes. If you couldn't get them voice, you could get them on a Morse code.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. You still remember the Morse code?
I can't play now, but those
but
days,
you learned it then?
As a signal officer,
yes,
I had to.
You had to learn it.
Yeah.
So the request show was on, and then what attracted you?
The services that they were rendering there. The radio commentators were commenting on how they were performing. So that actually caught my imagination. And I said I was going to join the army. I think that was what drove me away. So the immediately we finished our final exam, I moved to Kumasi because I had already come to Accra to take the exam.
The army exam?
Yes, when they made the advertisement and I applied there.
So I'm going to read. This is the advertisement. This is Saturday, February 25, 1961. Ghana Army, Ghana Signal Regiment. Vacancies exist in the Ghana Signals for radio and telegraph technicians. Applicants must have a good educational background up to school certificate or GCE level. Immediate career prospects for successful candidates will be as follows. A, an initial engagement for a maximum of 12 years with the colors. B, recruit training in Ghana Signals, Accra. C, continuation technical training at a technical institute in the rank of corporal, depending on qualifications. D, further training overseas if necessary. E, on successful completion at further training, promotion to sergeant if qualified as group 11. F, re-engagement to complete 18 years service or more with the colors. Then they have the rates of pay. Lance Corporal, technical, grade 13, £225 to £235 per annum. Corporal, technical, grade 12, £252 to £270 per annum. Sergeant, technical, grade 11, £321 to £345. Staff sergeant, technical, grade 11, £351 to £375. And then I think the WBW, warrant officer, class 2, tech, grade 11, £435 to £495.
That was plenty of money.
Free quarters are provided, or if not available, a lodging allowance of £36 to £72 per annum is paid according to rank. In addition, 32 days leave plus traveling time and free transportation is provided every year. Applications should be addressed to Officer Commanding Ghana Signal Regiment, Burma Camp, Accra. They spelled out everything.
Everything. And they followed.
No protocol.
No, when you joined, once you made the mark, they followed. That was how they sent me to America.
So you saw this ad?
And I applied.
In February of 1961, which is, 64 years ago.
And I applied.
Do you remember where you saw this advert?
Immediately it came out in the papers.
You were reading where? You were in Kumasi?
Yes, I was in Takoradi.
You were in Takoradi? You saw the ad?
Yeah.
And you said, hey.
And then I called my friend Soa from Teshi.
The Teshi man, the footballer?
Yeah, the two of us to apply to join the army. Then he said later on he could not go because his girlfriend was the daughter of a police commissioner and the girl wouldn't want him to be in the army. So I left.
Do you know where Soa ended up finally?
Soa finally came to the army.
Oh, how many years after you?
Can well remember, but then he didn't make an officer rank.
Oh, he didn't.
Yeah, he left as I think a staff sergeant or warrant officer. But then I had gone ahead,
Yeah.
and I was the chairman of the Ghana Telecom board.
When you saw him.
And then when he went on retirement, I got him engaged there
Oh, okay.
to work as a civilian with the telecommunication because he had a trainee.
I wonder whether he was still with the girlfriend or they broke up.
He didn't marry that girl after all.
He could have joined with you.
He lost an opportunity.
Oh,
So I took a decision, and I followed.
Did you ask anybody for advice when you saw the ad?
No, you just discuss it among our colleagues because those days we had a lot of opportunities for employment. I didn't have to join the army, so it's good you asked me why did I take the decision. A lot of jobs because companies were writing and departments to the technical school asking for certain number of our grade of technicians to be employed.
So it was something that you just took the decision. You talked to your friends. Did your parents know?
They didn't.
Grandpa, nobody knew.
Nobody. I told you that story earlier.
So you applied.
I applied and then I passed the exam. They asked me to report at Kumasi. I reported and saw the training too rough. And one morning, I discussed it with another recruit when we went to the toilet in the morning. And I discussed, he said, look, he was telling me, because you went to technical school, it's likely that you become an officer one day. So just try, don't go away. I said, for going away, I wasn't going to go anyway. I told him the story of the way I ran away from school. My father drove me back. So for going away, I wasn't going to go. But I started wondering why I should find myself being trained together with people who just left middle school. And I was ahead of them. We were being given the same treatment.
What was the training like? When you say it was tough, what was it like? What was boot camp like?
Boot camp was tedious. Because you were then going to learn the rudiments of soldiering, right? How to polish the boot. That's why they call it a boot camp. How to take care of military clothing. How to wash, starch it, iron it so that it could stand up. You're now going to learn drill 1, 2, 3. How to come to attention, open your legs.
Who was your drill sergeant?
They were very uneducated. I mean, they didn't have a formal education. So they even mix up the Hausa language with the Burikafa. Stand at attention. They were using some of them which we didn't know. I didn't have the understanding the Hausa. But they were good. They knew their job and they found a way of passing that knowledge to you. So, and they were all new. You have to learn. Then they gave you a rough haircut.
What's a rough haircut? What's a rough haircut? I mean, when you got to the army, what was your hair like before you started?
Well, young man's hair from school.
In the 60s, what was it like? Tokyo Joe? What was it? What style?
What Tokyo Joe was, but I never had one. But I never had actually a very bushy hair too. But I wish I had some of those pictures here to show you. But for you to just get rid of everything, they use blade to cut the under, shave it off all. So anybody who sees you knows that you are a recruit. And you wear their long PT pant, blue pant, or a khaki short. Those were the clothes you had everywhere you went to, and you were not allowed to go to town.
Not allowed at all.
Until you pass off the square.
What does that mean? When you say
passing off the square means that you have learned the rudiments of soldiering. You could salute a senior officer if you met him. You could pay compliments.
What is a good salute?
Your hands should be like this.
Like
this? Yes. It means you are showing all your palm, that you are hiding nothing.
So this is not a good salute?
No, not for us in the army. Okay. The Navy salutes like that.
Oh, you have different types of salutes?
Yes.
This is the Army salute?
Yes. The Air Force and the Army, we salute with our palms open.
Okay. Any reason why?
Yeah, that's what I've told you. That I said that you are not hiding
anything. You're not hiding anything.
You pay compliment to your seniors.
Okay.
And then for the NCOs, you pay attention like this.
Non-commissioned officers?
Non-commissioned officers. Because they are not qualified for a salute. So you pay attention like this.
Oh, so when you meet an NCO,
Yeah, you have to brace up. That's what they call it.
brace up.
Brace up.
Okay.
Then you.
Of course, you have to know who you are seeing in terms of the ranks, right?
Exactly.
If you give the wrong salute to somebody, what happens?
It's wrong. It means you haven't you haven't had a proper training. You must suffer some punishment for it. And one day, a bayonet, a scabbard to a bayonet, got lost during training.
Like the knife on the top of the gun.
Yes, it has a cover.
Yes.
And the cover, not the knife even.
The cover got missing.
The whole training center had to go and look for it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have lunch. If we went to the range to fire, the empty cases, you must account for every one of them. Else, the range had not yet come to an end. That was how strict the system was. Every bullet that you fired, you must account for the empty, because the empty cases will all be counted.
Yes.
They don't do that anymore, I think.
So how long did boot camp last for you?
For the basic one in Kumasi, it was like 6 months. Yes. 4.5, 6 months.
Okay.
Depending upon what was happening at the time. You know, the first Ghanaian troops who were in the Congo were still there when we were in training. And some of the platoons were taken away from the training center quickly, and they joined battalions, and they were off
To Congo?
to Congo.
Okay. So some of your mates ended up in Congo straight?
Well, it didn't have, when we just passed out, then was when I think they passed a resolution pulling out of the.
Okay.
This was after Lumumba's death.
Right.
Yeah.
So you passed out in 61?
61.
Okay. Do you remember that day clearly?
They came to somewhere in September.
Who was at the ceremony for you?
The late General Hamidu was a lieutenant in a signal regiment and was sent from Accra to bring us, the fresh recruits who were coming to signals. So he came there with an army Bedford Triton vehicle. He sat in the front and brought us to signals.
Okay. So your passing out ceremony was in Kumasi?
In Kumasi, under the commander of the center, of the training center at the time.
Okay.
He was a white man. I don't think I remember his name.
Okay.
But my platoon commander was Second Lieutenant Pearson.
Okay.
Many years when I was in Kumasi as the commander of the Northern Command, he visited, but he only missed me. He came looking for the grave of his great-grandfather who was buried in Kumasi.
Okay.
So, but that...
Oh, a white man?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Who was a second lieutenant when I was in training as a recruit.
Okay.
He had left the army long ago, but he came home. You know, these people, they don't play with their history.
At all. So did any of your relatives come to your ceremony?
Passing out?
Yes.
No.
But they knew back then that you were in the army?
Oh, they knew then. This time, after my grandfather sorted out the problem, everybody knew I was in the army. But I didn't have any relative to stay in Kumasi. No. Kumasi at that time, for you from the Volta region to have a relative there, it was not easy. What would the person be doing there? The furthest they went actually was around Akim areas in the eastern region. They went there as sawyers, you know.
Yeah. Carpenters.
And a little bit of whatever they were doing.
To do there. So you come to Accra, so you pass out as at what rank?
Private soldier. Every soldier after basic training, you were a private soldier. But when Hamidu came to take us, he told us that, look, gentlemen, I'm taking you to the Signal Regiment, the best unit in the Ghana Army. From today onwards, you are not called private soldiers. You are called signal men. And that's the rank you use in signal. In electrical and mechanical engineers, they will call you a craftsman. You know, in engineer regiment, where this book, they will call you a sapper. So we have these different terminologies.
There was a band called sappers.
Exactly.
And they came from that.
Exactly.
The engineers. Okay.
So but basically, you are all private soldiers.
So you're a signal man.
Yes.
What does a signal man do?
Signal man is recruited into the regiment, and you are distributed into various trades, depending upon your ability or your background. For example, I went in as a technician. That's what they recruited me for. Those who came from middle school, some of them became radio operators. Others were line men. Americans just call them pole climbers, those who lay telephone cables and so forth. But everybody had to, some went to learn how to be experts at battery charging. Some were drivers. Some were dispatch riders. All these people grouped together formed the signal regiment.
And you were in the engineering side of things?
Yes, I was a technician.
Okay, so what was your daily work? What did you do?
Your daily work was to look after the communication equipment, radios, basically. Then radio was separated from telephone. So we had technicians looking after the telephone equipment, and we were looking after the radios. Anything radio for the signal call, including public address systems. For example, I had a responsibility as a signalman to install public address system in the Methodist Presbyterian Church chapel every Sunday.
In Accra?
In Accra. Because I was a member of the church, and I was a church choir member, a chorister. So Commodore Kwe assigned that to me. He was our CEO. One, I was going to be at the church anyway. So it was not an additional job being given to me.
No.
So I made sure that was done. So combination of all this, they all belong to the dispatch rider is part of you. If you went on exercise, that's all, with all the composite parts. The radio operators will be there, the technician will be there. Maybe it's only one or two technicians. But the radio operators will be many because they have to be detached and attached to units in the front lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the army like in the early 60s that you joined under Kwame Nkrumah? What was it like?
Very disciplined army. In fact, until that first coup took place. Very, very disciplined army where you were made to stick to the basics of soldiery. What I mean, the basics is you knew how to turn up on time. You knew how to appear in uniform. When they told you, don't do this, you obeyed. If you were in a barrack somewhere, they said there's a tattoo, which they can call in the evenings, you must report.
What is a tattoo?
It's a calling of troops together in the evenings to check. Normally, you are checking a roll. Normally in the evenings to see if everybody was in barracks. And normally it will be during emergency that they will do that, what they call a tattoo parade.
So would you hear the bugle sounding it?
Yes.
And then you know that you're supposed
you're supposed to assemble at a particular point.
Okay. Did you ever meet the head of state when you were a young soldier?
No. You saw him at a distance. For example, the day President Nkrumah came from that incident, Kolungugu.
Yes, the bombing.
Yeah, we had assembled, you lined the route for the presidential convoy to come and pass. We had assembled there, waiting for him to come by. We didn't know that anything had happened up north. Or on parade, you saw him at a distance, but I never saw him so close. Not as a soldier. A cadet passing out to become officers were likely to have a handshake with the president because he actually granted you the commission. He signed all the certificates.
Let's refer to this advert. I want to know what that money could buy. So, but you came in as a private, so all this didn't apply to you. Did it?
They applied to me.
Applied to you? So.
Because they told you after basic training,
okay,
you qualify
for
to
all
be something.
these things.
Yes.
What could? When did you become a lance corporal? You were a private in 61.
Yes.
Yes.
When I was then I was appointed unpaid lance corporal. Immediately we came from training center.
Why?
I had to wear the rank to be able to stand in front of a group of people to teach them.
Okay.
Because they made me a potential instructor immediately. I came, having known my background. I could teach rudimental subjects like electricity and magnetism. You know, I could teach how batteries were connected in series or in parallel. Those basic things that you needed to know as a signaler. So if people came on courses, I taught those technical ones. In fact, even if officers wanted, so I couldn't stand in front of them as a private soldier.
Yeah.
So they gave me what they call unpaid lance corporal. So the rank was on my shoulder,
Yes.
but I received no money for it.
You're still being paid as a private.
Yes, until I went to America. When I was on my basic technician's course, was when a message came one day that it had been confirmed.
While you were abroad?
Yes, that I had become a paid lance corporal.
What was your feeling?
Very fine. I was so glad. and when I came back, it didn't take a long time. They promoted me. In fact, they did not promote me a full corporal until I was about to enter the academy. They had given me an opportunity to come and do a course, a competitive course with people from the Air Force, Navy, Army. And those of us that qualified as a result of that course, we had to appear before a selection board, like the young men coming from secondary school.
Yes.
And it was the day before I appeared at the selection board, the final board, that I was promoted a corporal. So I wore a corporal rank before I appeared in it. So when I appeared, the secretary to the board, then Captain Nyaku, I think he became Lieutenant Colonel when he left the army. He was the secretary. He said, why are you wearing a corporal rank? You are last corporal by all the documents in front of us. I said, I was promoted last night, yesterday. Then he said, well, that must be a positive sign. You know, that things were falling in place.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Where do you get the ranks from? When they promote you, what's the process?
you send the uniform to the tailor shop.
Okay.
And they'll put the rank there
They'll put it for you.
They have it.
This money, before we talk about America, what could 225 pounds buy?
A lot of things.
What could it buy?
Because what did you need to buy anyway? We were not rice-eating public as you have now.
Right.
Yeah. You know, you ate cake. How much did the cake cost?
How much was cake back then? 61.
I can't even remember, but we were learning to. Was it Banku, Akle, or what was it that you needed to use? Look, British pound, when you call those rates, you call £10. It was a big money.
How much? Like a car? How much would a car cost?
I wouldn't know.
But this was big money, eh?
I was nowhere near. But I remember when I bought my first VW as a lieutenant, it was 800 cedis. Then we had changed from the pound to 800 cedis, and even that one I had to go for loan.
It's big money.
800 cedis. Then I bought a VW.
What color? My father's one was red. I don't know what color it was.
No, mine was I think a white color.
Okay.
And I was the fourth owner, but it was a new car to me.
For real.
I was the fourth owner, and I enjoyed driving that.
The VW.
You know, because it was still very healthy.
Right-hand drive, right?
Yes.
Yes, because we hadn't changed to left.
No, at all. In Kumasi, because that's where I got my first license in 1967. It was when I had that VW.
Had you come back from you come back from America by then?
Oh, I came from America and then went to the military academy and got commissioned.
Okay.
It all happened very quickly.
What was your American experience like? What was it like landing in America?
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah.
When I landed, I was met by the father of the defense advisor who was here. He was a black American who was here. So the father met me and took me and put me on a train from New York down to the south, to Georgia.
Did you go there by Ghana with Ghana Airways?
No. I traveled on Pan American.
Oh, Pan Am. Yes.
Pan Am, those days. And it was a joy if we stop in Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal, Madrid, Spain, and all of the. I think when we took off from here, it was Senegal was the next place we stopped, Dakar. Then we flew across. Atlantic.
Was that your first plane
then
ride?
we went to these European countries.
Okay. Was that your first plane ride?
The very, very first experience, and I was writing down the names of all this, even though I didn't get outside the aircraft.
Yeah.
It meant I knew Lisbon.
Because the plane passed through there.
And when I got there to America, the letters I wrote to my colleagues back, those who joined the army with me, with the, what do you call it? The
email aerogram.
Yes.
The letter.
Exactly.
Which has the stamp on it already.
Exactly.
And you fold it and it becomes an envelope.
Exactly.
Yeah, the blue one.
And describing to them the journey. Because to travel those days overseas was no joke.
It's a big deal.
A big deal.
Were you scared when the plane took off?
I thought I would be, but I think I was enjoying it rather than. It was fascinating for me to know that.
Flying in the air, you're in the air.
Then we landed. And I said, so this place is just on the ground like this that we walk on. Because your imagination of overseas then was that it was like a different place altogether. Then when I entered the plane, and the train took off, we were going through the rural areas like train line was here before. And then they put me in a very comfortable place. I could sleep, rest. It was a long journey from New York to Georgia.
Down south.
Down south. And everything on the camp was good. At the base, they call it. In America, they call it Fort Gordon, Georgia. We finished the course completely, and we were to depart. So we were going to have a course party. And they took us to a pool room where they
play pool, yeah.
My classmates went and organized a party there. We got there, and they were not serving us. And I said, but we are here for a party. Why is it that they are not serving us? Then my friend Leslie Goucher, from Massachusetts, he picked me as a brother. So if his mother was sending him cookies during Christmas of that year, my package was different, his was different.
It's a white guy?
A white guy. Then from that area, they started allowing blacks to. But it hadn't got to the south. So Leslie came and called me. He held me by hand. Said, Henry, let's go. I said, where are we going? We have come here for a party. He said we should go. I said, come. And I saw like tears coming from his eyes. I said, Leslie, why? Then he whispered to me, it's because of you. That's why they are not serving. I had never felt so bad because I was the only black among them. If that had not happened to me, on my return to Ghana, I would have said that it was all not true, that there was a discrimination in America. But I suffered it myself face to face.
The waiters, they don't want to serve you?
Yeah, the owner of the place did not want
a black person in it.
A black person there. I must be out. So my friend took me in. So he too didn't participate.
As a protest?
Yes. Took me and we went back to the base. I felt so sad. That was how it was in the South then. But on the campus, we ate together, we slept in the same dormitory, we were in the same classroom. The army had changed, not the population.
There were other black people in your intake? On the base?
Yes, there were black girls and boys. In my class, there were Ethiopians. There were 3 Ethiopians, whom I had a great advantage over because I could speak English. I had gone to technical school full time before coming, so for me, it was not a problem. They had to do a little bit of English.
Yeah, to come up to speed.
Exactly. But one of them was very good at playing volleyball, and he played for our house. I remember very well.
How long did you spend in America?
That first course was 7-8 months.
Okay. And then you came back to Ghana via Panama again?
Panama
again.
Okay.
All right.
I also had a very bitter experience when on my way back from the south, I got out of a plane, of a train, and left my part of my luggage, and I went down I remembered. So I wanted to get back to the train.
Mhm.
The train shut up, they were gone.
Whoa. With your bags?
Yes, and that was it. So when I reported now back to the father of the defense advisor, we went looking for this because then these were thugs, you know. So what I had put on the ground also they took. Ignorance.
You never found the bags?
I never found the bag, so he had to give me his whole. I still keep that small bag that he gave me.
You have the bag
Because
still?
what else did I have even to put in? Everything I bought had gone.
Had gone.
Including my pictures that I took.
Oh.
Very bad experience.
Yeah.
But as a traveler, you will come across that type of thing once in a while.
Lose your bags once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you came back to Ghana. What
Then
changed
I
for you?
came to Ghana, was taken to my unit, given end of course leave, and I went to my village. This man has come from overseas. I didn't have a car. It's also not possible for them for Lance Corporal to have a car.
But they were expecting you to have a car.
I mean, you have a big
gone
man
abroad.
from Ambrochi. You are back.
Where is your car?
But the reception they gave me,
Really?
the whole of the village, they met me for a brass band, and we marched through the whole town because I was the second person to have gone overseas in the village.
The second.
The second.
Who was the first?
The first one was he ended up at High Court as a judge,
Okay.
Justice Wuto.
Okay.
He was a judicial secretary also. But his father stayed in Kafui Dey, that's where they went to school. So they were exposed to better form of education. In fact, it was his father who forced and brought middle school to Tanyigbe.
Ah.
Even though his children were there, he felt that there must be a middle school. And when they were not granting, the church was not granting middle school to Tanyigbe, he brought 2 teachers along from Kafui Dey and said he had brought a state middle school. He himself paid them. So it was through that force that the municipal council, then a district council, adopted the school. So we were the first local authority schools we established in the whole of the whole locality. Wow. Through their father's initiative.
Yeah. And he was the first one to travel abroad.
His father was the first one.
And then you were the second.
I was the second.
So there was a brass band was going through the town.
What?
People in white.
It was no joke.
Were you in your uniform?
No. Oh no, they gave me some. My father had some. These things for us.
Okay.
I was with my brother, my half brother. So the two of us, we were the
men in town. Powder was flowing around.
Exactly. You know, but then it was even more embarrassing for me when I went to the academy so quickly and it was commissioned. And in academy, we were told as officers, you could not travel on trotro. So, especially when it became commissioned. So if I was going to Ho, I had to go only on government transport.
No trotro.
No trotro business.
What's the rationale?
You are trained as a gentleman. And you should appear so. That's what your profession expects you to do. So I had to engage somebody permanently as a taxi driver who became a good friend of mine. If I got out of the government transport, he picked me from there to my village. Because I couldn't take trotro from market area to my village. No, not an option.
So the taxi was on standby, dropping.
He put me there, and I gave him the time I was going to return. He would come and pick me. He would have got a ticket for government transport, straight on the transport back to Accra. That was how it was policed. So you look different.
Yes.
And you try to behave accordingly as a gentleman. That's how officer call was.
How long was the training in the academy?
Mine was only about 6 months because I did a short service training. Owing to the fact that I was a soldier before entering the academy. Those fresh from school were doing 2 years.
But you already had training first.
Exactly.
Earlier on.
And I can also tell you one thing that, not with any pride, but when I went to the military academy to be the commander, to train cadets, I saw that on the board of the commanders that went before me, none of them was a soldier before. They were all regular trained officers who's passed through either training in Teshi briefly and went to Sandhurst. So I was the first one being given this opportunity.
Who came in as a soldier?
Who came in as a soldier before commissioned. So it was a challenge to me.
Yeah. What's the significance of coming in as a soldier as opposed to the other?
You would have been selected among a group of many. You know, I came from Signal, somebody maybe came from EMI. In that year, our intake, only 2 of us from Signal. Awudu, my colleague Awudu, and I. It means someone must have recommended you. You were a soldier among the many. In my case, I got to know later on that it was General Afari, who was the brigade commander in Kumasi.
Who recommended you?
And I had gone to his office to do some piece of work. And he saw me carrying this low rank, a lance corporal rank, that was corporal. And he said, "Are you the one in charge of all this equipment?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Why don't they give you the appropriate rank for the job that you do, all this expensive?" I said, "I hadn't been in the army for a long time." Then he said he couldn't care whether I was in the army for a long time. If they could trust me with all those expensive equipment to work on, why wouldn't they give me the appropriate rank? Brigadier talking to me, junior NCO. I was in a hurry to leave the office. But he won't let me go. He engaged me.
Yeah.
Much later, I learned that conversation between us. He called the head of my corps, Commodore Kwei, who was then a Colonel Kwei, and suggested to him that they should give me an opportunity to have a go at commission. So the 2 of them decided, yes, let's offer him there. That's when excellence was being rewarded. So I didn't apply to become an officer. I was enjoying my soldier life with my comrades.
Did you think back then that one day you could be a general?
No. Even after commissioned. But I had admired a brigadier rank so much because the peaks were many on the shoulder.
You can aim for it.
that looked nice to me, but little did I think that even there I was going to get there.
Do you think that it makes a difference when the soldiers know that their general was once a soldier, and so he will probably understand what a soldier's life is?
It's the way you command them. It will become obvious to them because you stood at a sentry before. So you know what exactly happens to a soldier when he's standing at a sentry. How long he will be there, how tired he will be. So if he's on a break and he's not looked after, he's not given proper food, he's not given time to rest, then he was going to fall asleep. Next time he goes to stand there. So you look after them. It comes to you naturally.
Because you've been there.
You've been there before. And so you become perhaps a better administrator in looking after them. That much I know the soldiers take delight in but in my case, you see, I wasn't a soldier for too long.
Did you ever do sentry duty though?
Oh, I did.
What was it like?
I stood even at a sentry at the 4th Guard in Kumasi, and it was a glory or a real feat to be selected on the parade square to be the 4th Guard commander.
Is it the guy who stand in front of the fort?
Yeah, when we go there, normally before they disperse you in the afternoon, evening to go on guard. There are several forms of guards. Others just go to the officers' mess. Some go to the magazine. All the sensitive places, guards will go there. But when they say 4th Guard, it means you were the best turned out in the group. And to point at you as the commander of the 4th Guard, which I happen to enjoy on 2 occasions, 2 IC of the 4th Guard, because a regular NCO was going to take you there anyway, Sergeant Corporal. But you were a recruit, and you were selected as the 2nd in command. It means you were not going to stand at sentry when you went to the 4th Guard duties. And 4th Guard was something that civilians used to come and watch.
Yes.
Like Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you march up and down gorgeously and change your arms, you salute without winking. And people look at you with admiration. They don't do it anymore.
So the girls will be smiling at you.
But you can't smile back. You pretend as if you haven't seen them. No, but it made you so glad.
Yes, pride.
So I had done all those things. When I came to signals as a soldier, I was doing guard duties.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know precisely what happens to soldiers when they are standing there. You need to look after them.
Does it fill you with some amount of pride that you have risen from private all the way to the very top, really? From private to general? That could be the title of a book.
Yeah, all praises to God that it has happened at all. When I look back from the beginning of the journey, I just thank God that it became possible. Because they were commissioning soldiers those days into officers anyway. I wasn't the only one. But the strange part of mine was that I wasn't a soldier for a long time. So even people in my regiment didn't know me well as a soldier when I came back as an officer. You know, and for me to have gone back to command the academy.
Where you were trained?
Where I was trained, to train other people. And they wouldn't send you there as a commander of the academy if they didn't see any qualities in you that you can mold young men into commissioned officers that will work for this country for years.
Yeah.
So for you to be picked even to go and do that was something by itself. Yeah. And I had never thought of what do I do next? But I had always felt that one day I might be given the opportunity to train cadets. And if I was given the chance, I was going to put everything in. And that's what I did. I used to farm. I used to have a farm at Pukwasi before I went to the academy. As a commander, I stopped the farming. I studied if my cadets turned their back to me, I knew them. Even it was in the darkness. I was with them. And my wife loved army life and cadets so much that they became part of us. You know, occasionally she organized meals for especially the foreign ones. I trained some Burkinabe and Ugandan cadets who will bring them home for meals. So that union, that friendship,
was there.
Father-son relation started from there till today. So those retired recently, Major General Almond, were some of my cadets. They also attend the same rank. To my surprise and praise to God that it happened, that I have lived long to see them.
Some of your students
grow like that.
Exactly. Rank. A lot of people blame the military for a lot that has gone wrong in Ghana, and they point to all the coups. Let's talk about the coups. 1966. Where were you?
I was a lieutenant.
Okay.
And I had just come back from the Western region. President Nkrumah had sent teams out to all the regions of Ghana to recruit people. That's the first time I heard People's Militia. President was going to form People's Militia and send to Southern Rhodesia to fight Ian Smith.
Which is now Zimbabwe.
Yes, for declaring unilateral independence. So I was in charge of the Western region. That's how I got to know Nzima area for the first time. And I was amazed that President Nkrumah hadn't done any development in his area at all. Roads were not there. And later, but then I didn't have all these ideas about good or bad politics. But looking back, then I think he was a true politician. He didn't do anything spectacular in his own area. But he was developing other places and he was concentrating on Africa. And I had gone there to recruit people to go to Southern Rhodesia. Then Mugabe and others were all in Ghana here. Hassan Banda and others were here. You know, and Nkrumah, and he was protecting them. preparing them to go back to their countries and take over as heads of state.
Almost like a trainer.
Yes.
Like what you were doing later on in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so that was the first coup occurred when I just came from the Western region.
What was Ghana like when that coup happened?
I noticed that the way we used to have uniforms and other things, it was not happening anymore. You used to go to quartermaster and change your green fatigue dress. Then we used to call it denim.
Who is the quartermaster?
Boots. Quartermaster was the one that kept logistics items for every unit.
Okay. Uniforms.
Maybe uniform, boots.
Okay.
Your accoutrements. Anything that you needed to wear for military, it was the quartermaster that gave it to you. So it so happened that from the Western region when we came, not long this coup took place. So later on, people were even thinking that we were spies.
Really?
Yes.
You came under suspicion?
Yes. But I was a lieutenant then. Then the other coup that followed,
72.
Kotokas was 72.
No, that was 72 was Achampo.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was a captain then.
In the Buzia era.
Yes.
Yes.
And they also ruled for some time. And
were you in Accra then too?
I was in Accra. In fact, I had been to only Kumasi and Accra were the places that I served. When I was commissioned, I went back to Kumasi to serve for a while. And I think after Kotoka was killed, I came to Accra, change of job. And I became an adjutant, like a secretary to the commander, General Eskin. And
oh, you worked under General Eskin?
Yes, directly as his personal staff. And our paths crossed again and again in the military.
What was he like working with?
Fine gentleman. Very kind, rewarded, excellence. In fact, he and Mensa Wood, these two generals I served, I always have deep respect for them because they rewarded excellence. If you were somebody who worked hard, they made sure they look after you. They gave you what you deserved.
So under General Eskin, what was your rank?
I was a lieutenant, then to captain.
To captain. Okay.
And then
79.
Then 79 case. Rawlings. 79, two phases, May and June.
Yes.
And our very much cherished generals, Akufu and others, who trained us, who taught us how to pass our promotion examinations.
You knew all of them?
Yes. These were the people who examined us.
Akufu?
Who taught us, who took us and that group. They were the ones who coached us even to pass our examinations first in order to be promoted. So these were people we revered. And they collared these guys and killed them one morning. I've never forgotten that. It was bad. And the follow-up events, the way senior officers were humiliated to the extent that some of us officers decided to leave the military. Unfortunately, some went out unprepared. If you were going to be a poultry farmer, you should have known how to keep birds first before. Or you went out and you got employed by maybe a Lebanese timber merchant. Again, you were in a new environment. Thank God, my very close friend, one of my very close friends in the army, late Siedu Ayuma, we were next door the base in Labadi Villas. He cautioned me, he called me, Anyi, don't let us go away. When we were young men, we decided to come to Ministry of Defense. Our colleagues went to Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Health, Ministry of this. Why are we going to change our ministry? We knew that there was going to be danger before we joined. Let's stay. He convinced me.
Yeah. Otherwise, you would have gone.
Not really. I didn't even know what I was to do. I was confused, really. Because at that time, I was mature enough to go to staff college, and I was duly selected to go to staff college, and the junior ranks started messing up with all these things. Today they remove your name from the list. Tomorrow they put your name back there. These things were going on. But my late wife also was somebody who loved the army. She wasn't going to allow us to go away.
What's the difference between Staff College and the military academy?
Oh, the military academy is the basic. Staff College, you have already served at least a minimum of over the 10 years. And you are going to be, then you would have done even junior defense college before going to the senior one, which we call the Staff College.
Okay. Do you have to have a particular rank, a minimum rank, before you can go to Staff
A
College?
major.
You have to be a major. Major
If
upwards.
all things go well, after 10 years, you should have been a major. And you go there now to be trained, to be able to take on higher responsibility, either command or staff.
What's this
at a higher level.
What is command? What is staff?
Our command is that you are directly in charge of troops.
Okay.
Okay? You give command and others take command from you. The staff, you are serving at a senior level under a commander. Even at the lower command level, if you are battalion commander, your staff officers, one of them will be the adjutant, because he's only doing staff work helping you. He is not in command. But the company commanders will be in command. Direct. So that's the difference. A commander has troops under him. Officers and troops under him.
So those people
He gives out orders and they take orders.
So those who stage coups, they have to be able to control soldiers, correct?
Yes, they have to be in command.
A staff guy cannot do a coup.
No, a staff officer, whom are you going to give the orders to?
Okay.
So Kutuka was in command in Kumasi. Achapon was in command here in Accra.
How about 79? Who was in command?
They wrestled the commander, Rollins and others took that responsibility by force from those who were in command. Because they felt they were not doing it well. That was why it was a bitter coup d'etat.
81 too, same thing?
81, the same thing.
They wrestled command.
Yes. Because Rollins was still the one in 81, because when he handed over to our President Liman, he came back to say that what he expected him to do was not what he was doing. So again, that was wrestling the command. They took over by real force. Even though the other ones to coup d'etat actually means taking power by force. You seize it. You know, but that was why that one tended to be bloody.
Yes, because you are seizing it.
Yeah. And it was like a junior ranks against the senior ranks. And it should never have been.
I've heard stories of junior ranks, humiliating people who are their seniors and forcing them to salute to them. What were some of the things that, do you think that has irreparably damaged the army?
Yes, in a way, but we recovered. If we hadn't recovered, there would have been perhaps no professional army. And that's why when I see certain things not going on well, an officer is an officer. And that it was for that humiliation that some of our colleagues left to go and try their luck on Civil Street. But we stayed in the sacrifice, endured that humiliation, and even later on had to be people who trained or taught those who humiliated us at the Staff College. Yes.
What was that like?
Because they were also going to get promoted,
Exactly.
and unless you attended
the Staff College
and you were recommended, you couldn't be promoted.
What was that experience like?
I remember one Nigerian directing staff asking us one day at coffee break, how did you people in Ghana manage to take all that humiliation from your juniors? I think the answer we gave him was that it would be the nature of Ghanaians. We were prepared to forgive. Because he said if that had happened in their army, they would have just gone to draw weapons and then it would be fighting one against the other.
Carnage.
That he was lucky we didn't do that. And we accepted them and rebuilt the army completely, because unlike 79, 81, the late President always told us openly in Burma Hall that he didn't take over power because he wanted to be in charge. So we should come and take over and run the country. He realized that they made mistakes in 79 by putting the younger ones aside from but he realized that they couldn't continue without the senior ones. So he was explaining that to us. If you remember, he never agreed to be called a president or something. He was the chairman of the PNDC. Yes. And Justice Annan was playing the role of like a president.
But why do you think he kept his rank? The flight lieutenant?
For humility's sake.
But then wouldn't you have had generals having to salute him? Or
yes, we saluted him as
a chairman.
Exactly.
Okay. Not as
his position, yes. He actually normally greeted us, "Good morning, sir." And then when he met us, his seniors, that was the first thing that came out of his mouth. "How are you, sir?" He will tell you that. He never forgot that. At least personally, he did that to me on a number of occasions. And in a group, he did that. He was a professional, but perhaps just couldn't take the rot that was going on. And that was why this country supported him, saying, "Let the blood flow." Whose blood? Our blood. It was the military's blood that was flowing, not anybody else's.
But then you almost say civilians also died in this whole mayhem of 79 June to August, September.
Apart from the killing of the judges and others, they were civilians.
How about these market women who were humiliated?
But
markets burned.
Everybody was against the system that was in existence. And that was annoyance being revealed. Even when Kutuka overthrew Nkrumah, which everybody condemns now, someone made a statement. He said, "Look, even trees are enjoying. Look at the way the wind is blowing." Somebody made a comment like that on radio. Because then you could not fire, fireworks during Christmas. All those things were banned.
You couldn't?
You couldn't.
Why?
Because people were making attempts on the life of the president.
So firecrackers were banned?
They were banned completely.
Knockout?
Nothing. So at that time too, people were happy because they thought their liberty had been restored. And they appropriately named their council National Liberation Council. It's still called 3BN like that. 3BN is called Liberation Barracks.
Okay.
Because that barracks was built during their time.
His name is still on the airport.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because of what he did. It was impossible to change the order of things. The parliament had become a one-state, one-party parliament. People didn't have a way of talking whatever they wanted to say. Liberty was gone. So they thought Kutuka restored the liberty for the individual. So he was hailed. So when he was killed in that insurrection by those two officers from Reki Squadron Ho,
67,
Yebua and Afa.
Yes.
When he was killed, he thought it was a loss. So Oleinu, Justice Oleinu, late Justice Oleinu, was made the chairman of a national something they call it, to establish clinics, Kutuka Trust Fund, they call it. So we established clinics all over the regions. I was in Kumasi then, so I was a member of the team that organized it, and then we made the largest contribution, Ashanti region. And the hospitals are still, or the health centers are still there all over the regions if they are looked after well. It was the pain of losing Kutuka that made the government of the day decide to do that in his memory. So at the time he died, until Ankara also somehow was taken out of office because of the Nzembere or something.
Yes.
Episode, yes.
Nzembere, yeah.
The country was running well. But personally, because I lived through all those stages, I said our lives were used as an experiment for stability in this country. If that is the case, now that we have the 92
Constitution, yes. Fourth Republic.
let's use it and build this country so that the sacrifices that we made and those of our colleagues who made the ultimate, who died, don't let it be in vain. So if after all that people have now come to be corrupt to the head, that they can run a country down completely, I don't understand. Have they forgotten our history? Generals were taken to the range and shot for not doing 1/100th of what these people have done. Not at all. So I remember on the 10th anniversary of the 4th June, the late President John Rawlings said in front of the Foster House that it was regrettable that those people were killed, but unfortunately, you couldn't recall that they couldn't be brought back. So he was apologizing to the families, even though apology could not
Bring them back.
bring them back. He said it openly. And I was standing there when he said it. He was reviewing himself, actions that, but there were things that done out of desperation. And the civilians were encouraging them, do it the more.
You were the ones who were shouting, let the
Yes,
blood flow, right?
let the blood flow, let the blood
Students
flow.
and things.
And our blood was flowing. It was a military blood. That flew the most. There were some civilians too, but our colleagues were shot, taken out of their homes, some of them killed with their wives. Why are people still doing the same things today? Why is the corruption? Why haven't we found a solution? That's the question I ask myself. I'm not a perfect person, but those things were enough for Ghanaians as a whole. Even if you are not born then, you read history. They should be taught in schools. People should know. And then that once we are awakened, then we move on. And this will become history.
Yeah. That we can learn from.
That we can learn from.
Talking of history, there's one part of your career that many people will know you for, and that has to be your time in Rwanda. You got there very early in '94, and you were witness to terrible things in this, the massacre of the Tutsi
and moderate
Hutus. What took you to Rwanda? Did you know you were going to go to Rwanda at some point?
Not at all. I was then the Director General Joint Operations.
And what was your rank there?
And Plans. I was a colonel.
Colonel, okay.
So I prepared the instructions for the General Officer Commanding to issue to the Army or to the 3 services about the pending operation. I was the one who wrote the instructions for the team that went on reconnaissance to Rwanda, preparing to deploy to Rwanda. No idea.
Who was meant to be going there?
The late Brigadier General Dogbate, Komla Dogbate. Very fine officer, gentleman, brilliant. But before he could go, he was ill. He had had an accident before, so this thing was coming. He never recovered from it until he died. So he reported to the army commander that he couldn't go. And then they started searching for a replacement.
Who was the army commander then?
It was General Kafui. He was a major general at the time. And they started sorting out the people to go. Still, I wasn't the choice of the army. Some of my other colleagues were contacted. Some were doing DA's job in London. Others had taken over some other commands here.
DA is Defense Attaché.
Defense Attaché.
Okay.
They were not willing to come back and go to Rwanda, so I was suggested or proposed by the then Chief of Defense Staff, Air Marshal Dumasi. And I learned there was a whole lot of argument from the Army headquarters that I wasn't an infantry officer, so...
What does that mean when they say you're not an infantry officer?
Infantry, because we belong to different organizations within the Army, the Corps. I belong to Signal Corps.
Signals, yeah. Communications.
Others belong to Artillery Corps, others engineer,
Okay.
others...
And infantry is what? The guys on the ground?
Yes.
Who command the troops?
Yes.
Okay.
The infantry is supposed to be, they move, get in contact with the enemy and destroy the enemy. They are supposed to be supported by all other, but of course they move with the armor. As technology developed, the armor, because it's also a typical fighting unit. But we know that in our establishment, in our rules and regulations, the engineers adapt to them, the signals adapt to them. You know, they don't do it artillery. We all will vie for the top positions eventually. That's why it's not surprising that the signal officer was the chief of defense staff before. The signaler was an army commander before. So I didn't understand what the debate was because I wasn't there. I was told much later that it took the then President Rawlings to ask, was it not this same Henry Anyidoho who was at the military academy and you people were full of praise for him? If he's the same person, give him the opportunity to go. He's a commission officer, and if he goes and he doesn't do well, certainly he's aware of what he will come back and meet.
What would you have met if you hadn't done well?
Well, I would have been thrown out.
Straight up like that?
Yes, because you fail in an operation.
What was your objective in this operation?
To succeed. Like anything I was given, I never like to associate myself with failures. So then, because the president said it, nobody could argue anymore.
A bit like your grandfather.
Yes. So then we went. It was when I was going to Rwanda that I was promoted a brigadier general.
Because you couldn't have gone as a colonel.
The rank was a brigadier, to be the second in command to the force commander and be the chief of staff. So we were promoted. Others were promoted along that time too. Those who were at the Defense Advisors Office in Britain, those who were holding other commands here like Support Service Brigade, we were all promoted the same day.
Is it a philosophy in the army that if you raise this person, then you have to promote others as well?
Say again?
Why were all the promotions happening at the same time?
Because we were colleagues, actually. We were about the same time and were due anyway to have been promoted. But I was then doing a colonel job in Ghana. So if I hadn't gone there, what vacancy would have been filled? Vacancy should be there. So I went, and then the peacekeeping operation turned into this nasty thing we experienced, the genocide.
When did you know things were turning ugly?
Oh, because it was happening before us. We were there. It was happening before our eyes because the president's plane had been shot down.
Yeah.
And these atrocities started immediately. Like something that they had rehearsed, how they were going to eliminate people. Mass killing. And then, unfortunately, Ghana was one of 3 fighting units there. Ghana had a contingent, Bangladesh, Belgium. Belgium, because they lost 10 of their men immediately, they were campaigning for the mission to be closed. Then Bangladesh followed. These people were pulling out. So Ghana was the only one then. So General Dele called me and asked me, Henry.
Dele was in charge of the...
He was the commander.
And you were the...
Deputy.
In charge of the Ghanaian contingent.
And also in charge of the Ghanaian because I was the senior most officer. But they had a battalion commander. The one at the Nkra who was commanding the troops.
Where was he from?
Say again?
Where was the battalion commander from?
From 3rd Battalion of Infantry.
Okay, Ghana. Okay.
Ghana. So I told the commander, he invited me to his office.
Dale, the Canadian.
These people are going away, Bangladesh and Belgium. Would you also go? And I said, no, sir, we don't have a choice. How can we live in the with all these things happening? They are killing people here. He said, so will your troops say? I said, we don't have a choice. We don't have any alternative. But I then remembered that I didn't have the authority to say so. Because Ghana government had to agree.
So you agreed, you refused to leave without getting the authority from?
Yes, then I had to now seek for the authority from home to make sure that the government gave us the backing to stay there. That I wasn't taking that decision on your own. But I had to call the battalion commander at the Nkra and I asked, Joe, you know we came here for a peacekeeping operation. The whole thing has Look at what is happening. But I've taken a decision that we shall not leave these people. We should not live here. Go and think about it and come and give me your opinion. Then he said, sir, if you say we are staying, we will stay.
You made it easy for
I
you.
don't have to go and think about anything. You are the senior person. If your decision is we are staying, we are staying.
On the spot, he said it.
On the spot. Absolute loyalty. That's what you expect a soldier to do. And we stayed together. But believe it or not, army headquarters and the unit, the service under which we were working, never sent us even a message encouraging us. We had messages from the CDS.
Chief of Defense Staff?
Yes, he visited us. We had messages from the president. The president even sent a team to visit us, including this freelance journalist who became a parliamentarian.
Fritz Baffo?
Yes.
Yes.
Fritz Baffo was then, I don't know what work he was doing for him in the castle, but
yes.
he sent him and some other officers to come and visit us. That
They
was
took footage and they took
first group of visitors we had. This was the case of so I wasn't
But
going.
Army didn't.
No.
What is in the scheme of things? So you, the president, of course, is number one. What's the relationship between the Army headquarters and CDS?
The army commander serves under the Chief of Defense Staff.
Okay.
The Army commander, Air Force commander, Navy commander, they all serve under the Chief of Defense Staff, but they command their services. So they take decision for their services.
You know why? When you, 31 years after the event, when you look back,
I still don't understand it, but I think it's just petty jealousy and hate. First of all, I was not going to be allowed to go because I was a signal officer. Then I went eventually, by God's grace, we did what we could to save some lives. But we made all that in the name of the Ghana Army, Ghana Armed Forces, Ghana, before the United Nations. So it was one of his people, one part of the army was performing well outside Ghana. He should be happy.
yeah, that should be a credit to the nation.
But he didn't see it like that at all. I've never forgotten it. And it was bad, to say it simply. And because of that, when we came back, Army headquarters never asked me for my briefing notes. I was not debriefed. Normally, when you come from operation, you should be debriefed.
You tell them what happened.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the lessons will then be applied to subsequent events of that nature. I still have the notes.
You still have the notes. Still waiting
Because nobody asked for
Still waiting for the debrief.
nobody asked for them.
Wow.
It was not good.
No.
And then they extended that hatred to me as a person, to also the battalion commander and all the officers who served with me. They all felt uncomfortable. Did we do anything wrong when we were in Rwanda? I said, we didn't do anything wrong. It's just out of petty jealousy. They thought we should have failed. We didn't.
When failure would have meant
by God. Then I had said that he should not go before they insisted that he should go. That's what the story would have been.
Well, I hate to remind you of terrible memories, but what was the most terrible time in Rwanda for you?
Well, first of all, the killing that we were witnessing. But even before that, I lost my wife before I left here. Yes. It was not quite a year. And whilst I was there, I lost my father. When the killing was actually at its peak, I had a message that I lost my father. And I went to tell the force commander. He says, so Henry, you have to go. I said, but not now. This place is so terrible. Fighting is going on. I'll wait. I'll let my people back at home. When things subsided a little bit, then I would come. Because I couldn't leave my troops in the field. He said, you will do that? I said, yes, sir. So I stayed. Until the RPF, actually, the Rwandese Patriotic Front, the army, they took over Kigali. This 14th July that they are going to. Until after that, before I obtained permission to come home. And I remember when I came back home, the president asked to see me, and I went to, before my father's funeral, and he asked, tell me, what made you to take a decision to stay? I said, I couldn't explain. But in life, there are times things happen that you cannot explain. What could we have done? He said he was worried that should we all be killed, he wouldn't know what to tell Ghanaians. Because the way things were happening, it was too frightening. Yet I was the one who took the decision which he backed. Why was that? I said, so I told him that there are certain things you do in life that you cannot just actually explain. But I thought it was a professional calling, that we should hang on to our job. Then he said, I thank you for taking that decision.
I was in Rwanda last year, and anytime I mentioned your name, they kind of just lit up. And you see these broad smiles, and they say, that's our hero. They appreciate your service.
I think so. I think so. And not only that, a year or 2 years ago, Dr. Patrick Ewa, Ashesi University, we held a program there in connection with the remembrance. He also said that when he had learned of what we did, he proposed building a monument in our honor or in our memory to his university council, and that had been approved.
Oh, wow.
So he announced it publicly to us at Asheshi during one of the events. I hope I will live some few more years for that monument to be erected, and I will be part of the official opening or commissioning of or unveiling of the monument. So others remember, look, General Eskin, when he was alive, tried to convince the various governments that have ruled this country that they should declare one day in a year in appreciation for what Ghana armed forces have done all over the world on peacekeeping operations. He used to appeal to them and said even more so, what happened in Rwanda, he didn't see it as just ordinary peacekeeping operation like the others. It was a special case where people left and we decided to stay, and we disobeyed the orders of the UN. He had not known of any officer disobeying the UN, so like I did in Rwanda. So those were things that they should consider to give us a special recognition.
Yes.
Nobody listened, and I can't go do anything to recognize myself.
No.
But if they had done that, I'll be glad for my soldiers, the officers who were with me through thick and thin.
And you lost some too.
We lost some. And why do people don't want to give us what we deserve? When I think maybe some years later, after we are all gone, somebody is going to ask that, look, let's recognize these people and do it properly once and for all. We cannot go shouting, asking anybody to give us a no. If Asheshi does that, maybe it will send a strong signal out that there was something that the government or the people of Ghana have not been doing.
Do we have a talent for forgetting where we came from and forgetting things that have happened? We just like to forget things. Is this something that you think about?
Yes, that is what is happening even to the country's economy. If you were to remember, if those people who were in power remembered what happened during the 79 era, where people even ran away from their properties that they owned legitimately because they were afraid. Then the mess we are going through now will not have been happening. Because let's face it, I don't know, I couldn't say more. What we saw and the panic and the fear that ran through everybody in this country at that time, it took some time for the situation to stabilize. And it affected the armed forces the most because people were sent out of the service suddenly. I mean, the effect was there for a long time. And those who did illegitimate killing of people also had their own share. They too were dying under some strange circumstances.
Law of karma.
Yeah. So all those things happened, and maybe the reflections are still there in certain quarters.
Mm.
Why would we still prefer material gains to living with stability? Recently, I've been reading that Ghana has discovered a new set of minerals here and there. I will hope that we manage them well. Our time is gone. For me, now all I wait for is my monthly pension. I can't go looking for a job. I'm disqualified. I've done my bit. But my children, grandchildren, the coming up generations, they should have hope that when I leave school, there is a job waiting for me.
Like what happened with you when you were...
Exactly. Like our time. Job was there. You could change from one side to the other because the opportunities were there. They were created. You understand?
Yeah, they were created. They didn't just come up.
No, they didn't just come up their own.
I mean, I've never seen a job description like this.
In detail.
Which tells you how much you are going to be paid, your training, all the ranks.
Yes.
You can plot your future with this.
Yes.
Everything is there.
So you are going in hoping that you will go through all these things.
Yeah, when you do these days, when they do the job description, they don't even tell your salary. You come and find out yourself. Or they'll come and ask you what do you want in the interview.
No, this one is fully.
It's fully.
And I'm glad I kept this advice.
Yeah, it's there. Saturday, February 25, 61. That was your...
This my colleague, Usu, who was my best friend.
Yes.
In training. Unfortunately, they died before I started searching for him.
Mm-hmm.
He used to live in Teshi, Nugua area.
So picture there of you and
President Paul Kagame and General
Dinkra, the battalion commander.
Yes, when we went for the decoration.
And the one of you in the shorts is you when you
was a cadet.
Cadet.
Yes.
At attention.
You can see the way I'm standing.
Straight. So you come back from Rwanda, and a lot of things happened. I mean, you ended up commander of the second infantry brigade.
Which tended to be the northern command.
That took it to Kumasi.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
So a place I started my military life from.
Mm-hmm.
I went back.
Yes.
And as destiny will have it, I was to earn it there.
Interesting.
I was trained as a recruit in Kumasi. I served in Kumasi headquarters before as a signal officer. I went back as the commander, the overall commander of the 2nd Infantry Brigade. And then it was turned into Northern Command. And I was the first commander
of the Northern Command.
Of the Northern Command, and the new government came into office. And we were retired. This is not the first time it has happened. There were 7 of us retired the same day. So I started from Kumasi, I ended at Kumasi, and went to my village. I was still on a terminal leave, as we call it. Mm-hmm. I could have continued staying in my official bungalow in Kumasi, but I decided to go back to my village. As I've said in my autobiography, I said, for me, Tanyigbe is my number 1 place on earth.
Mm-hmm.
In that community, I find solace. I find comfort. When I got there that morning, the way they received me, because I had spoken to the Reverend Minister of the EP Church, and she was ready in the chapel with the church choir when we landed there at dawn and went straight to the chapel before I could come back to my father's house. I mean, by the time we were leaving the chapel, I mean, people had known that I had arrived. And the convoy to my house. That's why I don't play with my people. I have always been with them. And I think they have always been with me. Mm-hmm. Till old age now that I cannot do much for them, but they don't forget. They don't forget. And I advise that people should not forget where they come from. Because ultimately, that's where you belong. Mm-hmm. That's where you belong.
What are you most proud of in your career?
That I have been able to serve my people, to serve me, because that was the oath I took, that I've been able to serve Ghana as a nation in the army. And that the challenges that came my way, I won't say the word, but the challenges tend to be opportunities to practice my art, what I've been trained for. And Rwanda is a typical example. But in my autobiography, you could see services that I led others and we rendered locally in Boku during the elections. And it's in the book how a bullet was lodged in the throat of someone that I used my helicopter, which was assigned to me, to evacuate to Tamale, and we could take him then on fixed wing aircraft to Accra Fortress. And he survived.
He survived.
So those things that were opportunities, I remember very well. And thank God for them coming my way.
You had quite a few national assignments, and then you also worked abroad. I mean, Cameroon, Nigeria, UN. What was that like? What were those experiences like?
All, I think, Cameroon, Nigeria, border crisis, and going back to Darfur after I came on pension, were all as a result of what we did in Rwanda.
Exactly.
The UN came to know me.
The people you disobeyed.
Yes. And they actually headhunted for me when I was on pension. They just simply went around, is this man available? And when they got the answer yes, they asked me to come and take on a piece of job.
What does it say about these people who, yes, you said it earlier, that you disobeyed them, continued with your mission, it was a success, but they still came looking for you?
Yes.
What does that say about
because of the result of what we may call disobedience? Because of my adherence to professional ethics, that you don't abandon people in their time of need. And we succeeded.
Yeah.
If we had failed,
nobody would have heard about you.
UN was doing that, was hesitating because of the failures in Somalia. And they didn't want to have another failure on their hands. Yeah. That was the whole thing. That's why sometimes I say Rwanda was an orphan child of Somalia operation.
Did you ever meet the late Kofi Annan?
Personally. You can see the two of us even in a picture.
I've read reports where they said they kind of blamed the inaction of the UN on him.
They have asked me this question again and again, and my answer has always been, Kofi Annan was Under Secretary General for peacekeeping operation. It was Boutros Ghali that was the Secretary General. But even Boutros Ghali didn't have the authority. The authority for UN missions rested and still rests with the P5, the permanent 5 in the Security Council. What they want, if they ever agree on any one thing, that's what will happen.
US, UK, Russia,
China,
and France.
Yes. Yeah. These 5. If the permanent 5 do not agree, forget it. So Kofi Annan was just being used as a...
So they didn't want they wanted the UN out of Rwanda?
Yes. When the killing was going on, contrary to what is the normal practice, if you are in crisis, you upgrade.
To meet the crisis?
Yes. You send in more troops. In our case, instead of sending reinforcement, they were reducing the force. And I couldn't understand. I said, these people, what is it? It's completely out of the teaching for us in the military. You meet opposition, you reinforce. And that's what we did in Liberia. When the first contingent that went there ran into difficulties, they had the opposed landing, we sent a 2nd battalion to go and support the first one.
I'm glad you brought that up. What was your role in Liberia?
I was a staff officer here. I was the Director General Logistics who had to help in preparing the troops to depart for...
So you were the one who had to command the year's supplies for them?
Yes.
So what kind of things did you do? What would you take over?
We didn't have any reserve of anything. You know, army properly equipped, established, you have reserve from food, medicine, clothing. you should have ammunition, you should have a reserve of everything. We didn't have.
So what did you do?
So basic things like food for the troops to use there in Liberia, we didn't have. So what did I do? I went to, what do they used to call it? Something food corporation.
Pioneer?
No,
state food.
State something corporation.
What did they make?
They used to control all...
GNCC?
No, GNCC. The Ghana made... Gihawk was in charge of a lot of the factories.
Yes.
But now I'm talking about Food Distribution Corporation.
Food Distribution Corporation.
They actually were responsible for storing and distributing, especially made in Ghana, food items like Bolgatanga,
yes, meat
factory, and so forth.
Some cannery.
Exactly. Yeah. So what I did was, I literally went to Food Corporation and put my hands on whatever stocks they had. And I went to water company, sewage and company, somewhere around 37.
Water company, yeah.
And put my hands on their water tankers. Then drove them to Bema camp. We promised, I got the permission from the minister.
I was just wondering whose authority were
So we got these items with the promise that Minister of Defense will pay back.
Yeah.
And I think the Minister of Defense did so.
Okay.
They replaced this time. We took them to the camp, sprayed them into typical military colors.
So the Ghana water tankers became green.
Exactly. And put on the ship with the troops to Liberia, and we collected Gari, Shito, from Food Distribution Corporation.
All those things.
Yes. And then we had some people to smoke fish and anything that we thought could keep them alive.
Yeah.
Because a reconnaissance team that Armed Forces sent did not get to Monrovia. They stopped over in Freetown, Sierra Leone. And they were briefed by a military officer who was the High Commissioner, the late General Chumasi. He told them that there was nothing in Liberia. So if you were going to send troops, we should carry everything. Carry kerosene, carry firewood, that's what he told them. And that's exactly what I did.
How many troops were you requisitioning all these things for? How many people went?
Ghana must have sent something short of 1,000, maybe about 800 something. I don't remember that.
And the commanding officer there was General Kwenu?
Yeah, was the overall commander.
Overall commander was General Kwenu.
Yes, because it was not only Ghana. We had Nigeria.
Yes.
Guinea was with us. But the Francophone African countries had withdrawn after they had all agreed that after ECOWAS had agreed that they were going to send through. That's why they call it ECOMOG. ECOWAS Monitoring Group. ECOMOG.
Who told them to get out?
I think they are masters.
We know them.
It's not difficult.
Red, white, and blue. We know them.
So they left us like that, but we had our nationals there.
Yeah.
And Ghana and Nigeria were not going to abandon the rescue of our nationals. The first time Ghana Air Force, Nigerian Air Force went into action together. Very unique operation. The Alpha jets and our Maquis. That was the time our troops, because our troops went on boat, on commercial vessels. Because we didn't have war vessels large enough to carry troops. So we used commercial vessels, Black Star Line and Nigeria shipping line. Okay. They also carry their troops on their shipping line. We also do. But our small naval boats followed them or sort of escorted them.
Escort.
And then they met this opposition when Taylor's forces were shooting at them. So these aircrafts were the ones that beat them off. Yeah, the ground attack aircrafts came and pounced on them.
Wow.
And that's how they stopped and withdrew. Otherwise, they were almost at the executive mansion, they call it. And I encourage people, I said, look, this is something unique operation. You've done international cooperation. Yeah. And our three services, the Army, Air Force, and Navy, went into action. Our chiefs were casualties. Why can't you write about? Nobody wrote about it.
Nobody.
Those who took part in the operation, they were the right people to have documented this.
Exactly.
For posterity's sake.
Yeah.
For study in our
War
military
colony.
institutions.
Yeah, because they were there.
They did it. And I wouldn't want to write about something which I didn't really see personally, because you might tell a lie. You shouldn't be going telling lies.
At all.
Because you are trying to take credit for something
That you
which
didn't.
you have not done.
Indeed.
You have not done.
Do you have regrets about your career?
At all. Everything, because I went to the army very young, before I turned 21. So anything I do in my house even today is what I learned in the army. I think militarily about anything I'm going to do.
How teach me to think militarily?
Well, they taught
yeah.
they taught you very simple things. They say, if you have a project, you have a task to do, you must look first to find out the aim of what you are going to do. You understand? Think about it and how you are going to overcome the difficulties associated with what you want to do.
Okay.
You understand?
Aim, challenges.
Yes. Well, in the military, we use different terminologies. But you should know that, and what time is it that is available to you to do it?
Yeah.
What resources do you have in order to accomplish the task? Do you have to do it in phases? And if so, which will be phase one? Because you have to make a progress. And if it's a big task and you don't do it in phases, you might make a mistake, you might fail. So that appreciation they taught us first, later on, they tended to be estimates. So aim and the factors that bear, and the factors, you'll have deductions. For every factor that you pick, you deduce. If a factor is enemy, you say, what are the enemy's capabilities? What does he have as opposed to? So you consider enemy forces and then your own forces. What is it that he has and as against mine? And I'm saying that I'm going to beat him. So that will be a factor. Time will be a factor. You make deductions. So if there's not enough time, but I have to get this thing completed, what do I do? So that's how I think. It comes to me automatically about everything. Something is going to happen. What do I do? I told you earlier on that I'll be attending funeral meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, I go to those meetings with the same thing. I remember when we unfortunately, when we lost Professor Uno, and I had the unpleasant but a duty to chair because death jolted me and I was shocked. I had to apply the same things. When we finished with the burial service at the Lashibi funeral home, the elders who gave me the task said, how did you manage it? To do all these things on time? I said, you gave me a task, right? You expected the task to be executed. I had to assemble the team. At that time, though, the government in power was sympathetic. So they gave us the support that we needed. So if you want to beat time to get to Lashibi, you need an outrider. Somebody must give you an outrider. And you get it from a source. If you know the source to go to, they give it to you. They report on time. You know that the human beings, they will eat. You provide food for them. The vehicles will have been fueled before. You are ready to go. So if you don't analyze like that, you fail.
I remember many years ago when my mother died and you were working on the funeral, and you asked me, make sure that the coffin can fit into the grave.
Exactly. You have to go to all those details.
Because Because I'm sure you've seen it before, that they bring the coffin
Exactly.
and it doesn't fit.
Exactly.
It doesn't fit into the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why the military, they say one leg up, one leg down. If you were in the church service, somebody should be at the gravesite to know that there is a shovel there that they can use to take the soil to put. if you don't do that, you only get there to find out that
There's no shovel.
yes, you have brought the coffee now, you have lowered it, but the minister is looking for a shovel or something small. So all those little details,
You've got to go do that.
you must assign the role to somebody and be over, because you assign the role to them, that doesn't remove your supervisory responsibility to watch it. You still watch to make sure that they do them well.
Yeah, you asked me lots of questions, I remember.
Yeah.
Are you excited that this new administration wants compulsory military service for people who finish university?
More than happy. Because even when I was in the military academy teaching there, we were training national service personnel
Yes.
who left polytechnics and universities at that time. And F4 Sutherland, is it? No, AC.
AC.
AC was a minister of, I think, education, junior minister. She used to come and review their passing out parade.
Nice.
I reminded her when I met her somewhere recently, I think Professor Anyidoho's house, that you remember the days you used to come and review. She's in wheelchair now.
Yes, she is.
So for me, I think it's expensive. But let even the various departments make monies available. Part of their budget.
Yes, put it aside.
Put it aside.
For national service.
Cadet corps that we established in recent time before I left the army. The parents were more than willing to sew uniforms for them. But before, the army was supplying the uniforms. Yes. We were taking them to camps during holidays to train them how to fire weapons and so forth. But it came to a time when the army could not provide uniform. So those schools that wanted the cadet corps, they told the parents and they sold the uniforms for, because they saw the discipline aspect of it, that the children will benefit from that training.
So yes, for you, green light for the military training.
Oh, yes.
What if one of your grandchildren comes up and says, Toby, I want to join the army? Would you encourage that?
I will encourage him, but I will also encourage you to pass through the process. Pass through the process like everybody else. Yes, you advise him, but he shouldn't see it as like it's something cheap.
You hear a lot about protocol in Ghana, where people are you have allocations. Then I'll give you 10 people to bring to the army, to the police.
There shouldn't be a protocol thing in army police at all. For me, it's wrong. Okay, I didn't know anybody before I joined, but that was a different era. The thing is, the protocol thing, they never turn out to be the right material, because the job itself is hazardous. So if the man is not going to be capable and you give him the chance by force, illegally, when it comes to period of challenge, he will run away. And we are talking about people to defend the country. Do you know of the police investigation in Kibi ritual murder case? You know of it? Achamensa?
Yes.
You read the book?
Yes, I did.
Do you think a protocol police officer will do that? No. Can do that kind of investigation?
No, you can't.
You can't. And protocol soldiers could never have helped me in Rwanda. They wouldn't be able to.
They run, eh?
They will run. Because, I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Everybody's afraid. Bullets are flying. But if you know that at one time you took an oath,
yeah, then you go by
you live by it and do your work. In the process, somebody is going to be hurt. Somebody is going to be killed. So be it.
I never knew that soldiers could wear beards, but of late I've been seeing soldiers wearing beards.
If they are soldiers, the army type, they would have been under permission. Because when they shave, they have pimples or something. It should be for health reasons. Navy, yes.
Navy can wear beards?
Navy wears beards.
Why?
Professionally, I think it comes from their tradition of sailors being on a ship.
Okay.
Not
enough time to shave.
Oh, I don't know. But you know, merchant ship captains also wear
They wear
beards.
beards, yes.
And navies all over the world, if you want to wear beard, they wear.
Okay.
It's their tradition. And I think they look good to me. In their white dress with the
With the
white
black-
beard. You know, they command some
kind of
authority.
Yeah.
Yes.
But army, unless it's for health reasons,
You can't.
you can't wear a beard.
You can't.
Even an officer?
Yes. That's why I shave every morning. Even now that I'm on retirement. If I see somebody else, he start growing beard because he's left the army, I say, this guy is forgotten his training. You know.
But if I'm not mistaken, I've seen pictures of
Soldiers.
General Akufo, didn't he have a mustache?
Yeah,
Africa.
you grow mustache.
Yeah. You
Not
got,
beard.
but not a beard. You
Yes.
can have a mustache.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
I used to grow mustache.
Okay.
If you see all my useful days in the army,
You had a
I
mustache. But no, nothing here.
No. But that Wilton had mustache. Long one too.
Yeah. You still love the army?
Yes.
If you had to go back in time and pick a career again, would you still choose the army?
If the army remains the army, yes. If it's not adulterated army, yes. Because for me, that's the only work I ever did. And it taught me so many things. I used that discipline, which I brought from my house, combine it with the army, and use that to train my children. And anybody actually that lives with me in this house, that's the same thing I apply.
Do the young men have a curfew?
And then my wife, sometimes I was, look, have you started shouting at people, you learned it from me or what? And an old lady who once gave me a maid from my village said when the maid came back, she started shouting at them and she thought because she lived with me.
Do the young men have a curfew? The young men, they don't have a curfew?
No.
Did they used to have a curfew back in the day when they were younger?
No, I gave them sufficient liberty. They make friends. But certain things, you should not do.
Okay. What are the no-nos for the young men who live here with you?
Don't disrespect elders. You know the complaint I've made about your uncle to you.
Yes.
So many times, don't disrespect people. If you have a fear of God in you, you should be humble enough. And you don't lose anything by being humble. But be firm. Be serious. Be consistent, because that's the only way you can grow. Now that, as I told you, we said, this is a transit point. Don't go out the same way you came in. Be at a better level when you are leaving.
You're going.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you once served on the Ghana Telecom.
Yes, as the chairman.
As the chairman of the board.
I went in first as a member of the board. Later on, became the chairman.
This was before Vodafone took over.
Yes.
What was that? What do you think some of your achievements were as a chairman of the board?
Can I calculate them now? Can I call them? But when I went to PNT or our board,
Post and Telecommunications. Yeah.
Post and Telecom, it used to be called Poverty and Troubles. That's how they translated the P and T, Poverty and Troubles. It was an organization that those that were within even they didn't like.
Poverty and Troubles.
Yes. But we brought it from there to where university graduates wanted to join. The PNT became their first choice. So our postal services, for example, we staffed them with a number of first degree holders from Cape Coast at that time and some other places. We raised the standard of the organization to the point where we could go public with the company, as we did with the Malaysians.
Yes.
That was what we separated the post from telecoms. And the telecom had made so much money that we supported the post in the breakup. When we were breaking up, we gave them additional funding. We didn't go to government to look for it.
All self-generated?
Self-generated. And we had generated enough money outside, and we could bring some in to pay end of service benefits to the employees. Those of them who wanted to start building projects while they were still serving, we paid them half of their end of service.
Oh, wow, almost like a grant.
Yes,
Yeah.
to start their...
Don't wait till you're retired before your money comes.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
We did that on our own. The board took that decision and gave to management to run.
That was great.
Because we were unshakable so far as our finances were concerned. And now, even when the Malaysians joined us and we were making ID cards, the employees complained that they were not dogs to be wearing tags. Later on, they came to like it. And they didn't want to take the tags off. That's why it pains me that soon after our board, the government sold it to... It was one of the biggest mistakes ever. If they call me, if I stand at treetop, I will say it. Ghana Telecom should never have been sold. Because telecommunication, you see, it says like candy. When you put candy into the mouth of a little boy, a little child, and you take it, he will cry. When people get used to communication system like he's doing there, if the phone is not there, he will cry. Because your life depends upon it.
Yes.
So it's something that will forever make money.
Did this undersea cable belong to Ghana Telecom?
Yeah, we own it. That was the backbone.
We sold it.
We sold everything. Our external telecommunication system, which used to be there, those days you had to go there to make telephone. Our board was there before we put in international direct dialing system.
IDD, yeah.
Yeah, before we built that exchange. And we were making progress. These folks came, the government came and sold. I said, for how much? Even the backbone. British Telecom, I think, still today owns the backbone,
of course,
of their communication.
That's the cash cow.
Yes, they must have privatized part of it. The backbone, you don't give out to another person. If security-wise, it's wrong. I don't know whom I can tell this before they change it. Security-wise, you don't give your telecommunication backbone to anybody.
Can we buy it back?
I think the government can do that. And internationally, they will understand. I mean, you pay money for it because they had improved upon, so to say. And we built our own, when we were building our own, what do you call it, mobile telephone system. There were a lot of arguments. Why is it that we gave a license to other people to operate a mobile phone and we ourselves were, because we knew it was a money getter?
Yes, from the backbone.
Exactly.
The days of one touch. And all
you know the Telecom University?
Yes.
On our initiative, I went to Malaysia and I saw that they had established their own university because the other universities were not producing enough engineers to man the telecom system. So they built their own. That's what their director told me. So when we came back, I said, this Tesano, can't we change it into a telecom university? Let's start it small, and affiliate it to KNUST. Let them supervise it for us from the beginning. So we started. Fortunately, when they were selling the telecom company, they left the university. That is why it is still government-owned today.
Wow.
And I'm glad when last time they got one of our engineers to come and chair the board. You know, the council for the university. On our own initiative. I don't think even anybody has any credit to us, our board at the time that we did it by ourselves.
Who were some of the board members back then?
Agribensa was the managing director. He's alive today. I think I'm a year older than he is. He lives somewhere in the Shalabuchi area. Mills Robertson, he died. I had General Abdullah. He was then a colonel, my colleague signaler. In fact, when we split, he went to head the post. The rest of them, maybe with time,
they'll come.
Yeah.
I'm sure the younger generation will never believe that the posts and the telecom were once together.
No, because they didn't know the poverty and troubles.
So the sale of our...
we established also there was a mailing system.
EMS.
EMS.
That was under your board.
Expedited
mail service.
Mail service.
It's still
It was
available.
under us.
EMS is
It's still around.
It's still around.
That was our brainchild. At that time, the PNT was under the Director General. Then we hadn't changed to private company, so we call it Director General. Gbagona, Michael Gbagona,
yes,
who was a retired signal officer,
okay,
was then the Director General. When we established the EMS, I can still remember the things he did that day at the General Post Office when we were launching it.
That office is still there. The PNT office at airport, at Circle, still there.
It's still there?
Yes. It's now Telecom. It went to Vodafone and then.
No. They have to take it back. You see, because every day there will be the need for communication. So if there's an improvement in our telecommunication, it's owned by private companies. No, it should be owned by the government of Ghana.
One time.
It should be something we should never give to anybody. It hurts me so much because we put so much effort into it and we train very seasoned engineers, Ghanaians, and all these people went out of job. Some of them just went back to their villages and settled there. It's bad. And the boys went without job. You have said enough. Eh?
Yes, we're wrapping up. And I just want to find out, is anybody making use of all the knowledge you have in your career? Is the Minister of Defense, are they Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, are they tapping into your brain? I know you've written 2 books.
Yes, to
one on yourself,
some extent.
Yeah, they are tapping into your brains.
Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center often engages me. And Staff College also on and off. Yes. And then they send students here to come and interview me.
Oh, they come here?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The students from the Staff College and then from Junior Defense College. They come in what we call in the military parlance, character study.
Okay.
They either ask you to study. When I was a cadet, I studied De Gaulle.
Okay.
And Eisenhower also something. They either give you a military general or they give you a popular or somebody who achieved a lot as a civilian, head of state or something.
Okay. What did you learn from De Gaulle?
Charles De Gaulle, because he came from the military to become a head of state.
Yes.
And then this change over. So was Eisenhower.
America.
I said, so when they gave the 2 of them, I just approached their study from their military training point of view and how they were able to use the knowledge in the military to apply those to civilian situation and achieve success. They were trusted. But that was even when I was a cadet many years ago.
Yeah. In a way, I think you've applied those into your life.
Yes.
Yeah. The people you studied.
Because for me, you cannot be asked to come to an occasion if you were in the army before and you'll be late. I won't like it at all. Why are you late? If you are going to come anyway, why didn't you come in time? If you are not going to come, then you are not going to come. So lateness, I hate.
Disclosure. So you were the leader of the delegation when I was getting married. And you told us 10 o'clock, we need to start.
Yes.
We were there before 10 o'clock.
Yes. If I'm involved, anybody who knows me will say, hey, don't make a mistake. This man, he will be here on time. Unless something serious comes my way, I'll always be there.
So time.
On time. On time. And sometimes I embarrass people because I get there too early.
When they are setting up.
But it's better
than to be too late.
To be too late.
Yes. I see this national award. This is dated Monday, March 13, 2000. By then you were a brigadier, 1-star general.
Yeah.
And you were given an award. Distinguished Service Order. A national award.
Yeah.
Presented by the president?
Yes.
President Rawlings. Yes. 2000. Yes. Yeah. This is the last month of his time. How do you feel about this award?
great. It was late.
Mm-hmm.
It was more than 5 years before he came, but all the same, I brought my staff from Kumasi, my warrant officer, my staff officers, our unit callers. Callers play a very important part in it. They all marched behind me or by my side when I was being decorated.
Why do you say it was late?
It was late because when we came from the operation, they should have decorated me.
Back then, Rwanda. Yeah.
Yeah, It was in Rwanda. They didn't do it, and the late President Ronald told me that each time my name came up, he wanted to do it. Some of my seniors added their names to the list, and he didn't see what they had done to deserve being decorated.
Did they smuggle their names into the...
They
add their names.
They use
that opportunity.
They use other circumstances. Like I was at point A when there was a rebellion, when there was a coup, and this was the ruler. You have to assign some reason to why you think it should be decorated.
Yeah.
And he said there was no way he could compare that those occasions with what he went through in Rwanda. So he said anytime they brought it, he just threw it away. So the day he was pinning the medal to my chest, people could see him visibly talking to me.
I think he was saying stuff to you.
Then you say, finally it's happening. Finally it's happening.
What was he like on a personal level, JJ?
I think when I came to know him, it was mutual trust. I respected his knowledge. That he was much younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
But he seemed to know so much, and he was in charge of this huge country. I admire him for it, for his courage and his initiatives. And I think he came also to admire my way of doing things, because whatever was given to me, I tried to do it well. That's all. We were not mates in academy, we were not friends before, but I think it was mutual respect when we came to know each other.
Do you think a lot of Ghanaians misunderstood him?
Yes. It's always in leadership position, people will misunderstand you. You should accept that. Everybody will not like what you do. Especially when death of human beings occurred during your reign. It's something you cannot be forgiven, because people lost their dear ones.
Yeah.
Their fathers, maybe mothers, children. I mean, I was worried when we were in Rwanda when I took that decision, that if we should be killed, the boys who were with me, some of them had just married. But at least I had my last born was at I think Form 2 in Addis Ababa, Timo at the time. So I wasn't going to lose too much.
No.
At least I have some children.
Yeah.
What about these ones? And the first person casualty that we took, Lance Corporal Bedu, Mensa Bedu, his first child was in the tummy.
Wow.
But when we came back, I saw the child with the mother.
You went to visit the parents. What was that like, meeting the wife?
Very bad for me. But those things sometimes can make you very emotional.
Yeah.
But it's a professional calling. You ask yourself again and again, did you do the right thing? If the answer is yes, so be it.
In 3 days time, you're celebrating your 85th year on earth. How does that make you feel? God willing.
Appreciation to God for making it possible, because some of the hazards I passed through life, perhaps I shouldn't have been here by now. Not only Rwanda, not only Boko, but even as a child in my book, I said it. We were playing with a shotgun at one time, and my head would have been blown off. When I was in Ethiopia working for the UN, I dropped inside the empty hole of a lift. On one occasion, even the lift had disengaged at the top, it would have just crashed me under. That also I survived it. So when I think about some of they were too close to death, very close shave. But I survived, and to be living to see the 85th, I think it's all thanks must be to God, go to God for his protection, his guiding principles. That's all what I can say. I feel indebted to government, and I mean to God, and to all those that served with me, all those that taught me even when I was in school. You know, in my book, the acknowledgement I give to all those, the groups in which I lived. Why I don't play with my village, for example, is that there were many people in that village who took care of me when I was young, because we live in an open society. You know, maybe he carried me one time at his back. The water I drank is there. The breast milk I fed on from there. So I'm indebted to all this group of people, but most importantly to God, because he is a giver of life. So I'm looking forward keenly to it on Sunday, when some of my children would have been around. We observe it simply by going to church early in the morning. Thank God. When we come back home to have something to share. That will be it. It will not be any big do. If God is kind again, and all this my walking stick, they don't become worse, and he adds 5 more, then that one might call for a whole celebration. If I'm able to still sit down and talk. But we see, all in the hands of God.
Do you think about the last journey? I mean, your book says my journey, but there's always a journey that we all take out of this world into the next. Do you think about it sometimes?
Yes, I do. I fully appreciate the fact that there is death. And I don't hide it at all from my children or from my close relatives. When we are talking, I say, look, one day I will not be here. So you better learn to do this. And I also learned it from people. One day you'll be missing me. So don't just be here and be saying, what are we going to do if this man is not there? No, think of what you will do now.
And prepare for it.
And prepare for it. Because death is real. And I've told my children that if I pass on to the next life, please don't bury me in Accra. Take me to my village. Everybody around me knows this. I say it every time. Take me back to my people. Whatever the military wants to do here, they should do it. But eventually, I return home, where I started the journey from. And my church will be responsible for burying me. I make everything, it's like a will. I say it openly to people. So I don't shy away from death at all. I know it will come. When, I don't know, like anybody else. But I pray that I do not get so sick, bedridden, become a problem for people, because my body will not be easy to manipulate. So if it comes suddenly, I prefer. Then I don't become a headache to anybody, trying to pull you from bed. Which part do they hold to pull? I'm conscious of that.
I enjoy your sense of humor, and I really enjoyed every step of your journey till this date. Wishing you a happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
And God bless.
And thank you for coming.
It's always a pleasure.
And I thank your team.
Yes, indeed.
Your crew.
Yes, indeed.
Your female crew for coming.
Thank you so much. And that's our conversation with General Henry Kwami Anyidoho, Major General, retired, and also an author. Look for his book, My Journey, Every Step, and Guns Over Kigali. It's available everywhere. My name is Kafui Dey. God bless.